around back to the main street over to my parking. So I had to squeeze through a fence and made it through probably at the 5% discount with a little bend in there. Somebody had helped me out with a little bend around the belly area.
4.5%. Chad Baker Mazara could do 15%.
Yep.
Dylan Cardwell is definitely full price. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. Her, I think her issue of getting the 15% discount is about to start. The way she's going through the gate right there.
I think
she gets in free probably.
I was going to say she probably gets her meal free based on. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you he's probably not unfinished.
Post on Facebook page advertising the restaurant showed that at one point, one of the gates offered free food through a disclaimer on the sign notes that discounts only apply to customers over the age of 18. Now, they went on to say on the Facebook page, it's just for fun. The discounts are real. After the challenge, kick back, relax, enjoy your well-earned discount with us in our beautiful garden oasis. Now, the policy has drawn backlash from some, of course. Everywhere you're going to get backlash.
Indeed.
Social media comments and reviews have expressed discomfort and disgust at the discounts, describing the idea as discriminatory, potentially supportive of eating disorders. Now, in a response to a review that described the restaurant as fatophobic, a Google account listed as the Breakfast World's owner wrote, "We have 200 to 300 guests every day, and 99.9% of them have fun with our discount. Maybe just not take everything so seriously and see discrimination in everything." We do, unfortunately, see discrimination in everything.
We do, yeah.
I mean that's a fun thing.
Yes. I mean,
unless you're a 7-foot giant who's also massive, that
you pay full
feels
price.
shame.
You're paying full price.
I have to go around the gate. It's too short.
Yes, Melton's like, I'm going to have to pay more.
Okay,
I'm paying a tariff to eat.
Now, the first fan base I ever remember doing this was the old New Orleans Saints with the Aints.
I think it is mine too, LT.
Yeah, it's because they would show them on TV all the time.
You guys are not going to like this at all, though.
Okay.
Pirates fan hoping to send a silent but clear message about the state of the team was forced to remove the bag he was wearing on his head, prompting the team to explain why the symbolic gesture isn't allowed for safety reasons. Now, frustrated by the play on the field, the Roberto Clemente logo that we talked about, the removal of that, the Bucco Bricks disappearance, season ticket holder Tom Lohr decided to wear a brown paper bag on his head to Wednesday's game. He went on to say, quote, "It sends a message that wearing a bag on our head that we're proud to be Pirates fans, but we're embarrassed of the product on the field and how the team's being run. For me, it represented a nice, peaceful, silent protest." I agree with this. I don't see anything wrong with this. Now, during the third inning, that's when a ballpark staff member told Lohr that he either had to take the bag off or leave. Now, he took the bag off. He said, quote, "I asked why," and he said there's no mask policy at the ballpark, explaining it prompted him to check the ballpark's rules online. He said, "Man, there's a lot of rules, but none say anything about a mask." That's when a Pirate spokesperson told KDKA-TV, unwritten rule that fans aren't allowed to cover their entire heads at the ballpark, explaining it's a rule that's common at sports venues across the country. I get that it might be common, but, like, this is different. If somebody's wearing a ski mask and wearing this,
yeah,
I mean, this is symbolic of things that we've seen for decades.
I would ask the question. Hey, friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Take the Next Round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store. Call the Next Round now at 205-734-0923. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Rory finally wins the Masters. More basketball departures from Alabama. Football portal opens on Wednesday. We'll get to maybe the death of the A-Days. But when this story developed at Tennessee this past week, I never thought we'd get to where we are as we're here on Monday. But it moved quickly, and Nico Iamaleava out of Tennessee.
Well, I'm surprised it happened this quickly, too.
Me too.
A couple of things. We said it would be nice if Heupel had a good enough option to tell Nico, take a hike, kick rocks.
I don't think he does, Lance.
Yeah, well,
But you know what he did.
Yeah.
And I hate him for this because I don't want to like Tennessee as much as I like them today, but I love what he did. I love what he did right here.
You just wonder how much of this goes on behind the scenes, and a lot of it has to.
Has to.
And what's surprising and how this gets out, there is a side to the coin of, man, who would put this out? If you are part of the team internally, do you really want to cause this chaos? Now, I'm on the other side of it. Like, if you had a deal in place, if you're Nico, you can negotiate in good faith at the right time. But obviously, something went off the rails. I wonder if we'll ever know the true story.
So you're asking who leaked it to Pete Nakos?
Well, not only first of all, yeah, who leaked it? But why would you leak it? Why would you not keep this stuff internal?
I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Heupel leaked it.
Yeah, maybe
because I think Josh Heupel probably knew we're already overpaying for this guy. I mean, that's the thing that
I believe that.
I think everybody believes that. Like it's so weird, the sphere of Tennessee fans I have in my life, but I talked to several of them over the weekend, and they all agreed. They were like, I got no problem with this. Now, it's easy to say that in April.
Right.
When you're playing Syracuse in
go back
August.
UNLV. We were, I mean, that kid was getting destroyed at UNLV.
Right.
Yeah, but to your point, is he even worth $2.2
I don't
million?
think so. I was talking to a Tennessee fan yesterday. A friend of mine's a Tennessee fan yesterday, and he was like, I was already kind of frustrated with how much we're getting out of him already for what we're paying him. He goes, we're paying him like $1.5 million, $2 million, and he is average at best.
Yeah.
And this is a diehard
you guys
Tennessee
were
fan.
saying, I mean, an elite quarterback's about 320 plus every Saturday. He averaged 200 yards, dead on 200 yards per game.
Well, we did it on Friday. We ran through the contenders in the SEC and even the unknowns in Tuscaloosa and in Auburn. We didn't think any of them would trade their situation for Nico.
No, a lot wouldn't. Look, there's a thin line between love and hate. You've heard that before, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, I think this is a great example of it because it seemed like, a week ago tomorrow, we had Clay Travis on the show, and he was talking about Nico in some circles projected as a top 5 guy if he does.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit for Tennessee. So I think there were Tennessee fans that started to think we might have an elite quarterback here. But I think you go from that to you want the guy to completely fail wherever he goes.
Yeah, now.
And on the other side, Nico's just all about, well, hell, they didn't want me. I'm going to go out and prove what I can actually do now.
That's why I think Heupel might have been the leak, or at least people around Heupel, because I think Heupel probably knew we're paying him all we're going to pay him. And if they're shaking us down for more money, we're not going to cave to it. We can't. Yeah. And I think Heupel, or somebody around Heupel, probably with Heupel's instructions, thought, this is going to go bad at the end. We're going to control the narrative. Because he's got to be smart enough to know if the shakedown goes public and they don't cave, Tennessee fans are going to rally behind Josh Heupel in this. And Heupel's not an idiot.
Well, and he had to know the number because I brought it up. If you've got a number in your head and you know that Nico is not worth that, then that's when you tell him to kick rocks. He must have known the entire time, if in fact he was the guy that leaked it. Nico's camp wants this, and we're not even close to that number.
Okay, Josh Pate's going to join us in less than an hour to start hour number 2. Josh Pate said last night on his football show that the Nico camp were working to renegotiating and threatening a holdout before the playoff game at Ohio State last year. That's when it all started. Back in December, before the playoff games, they were threatening holding out of the playoff game in Columbus as the starting quarterback, trying to rework the deal. That's when the new deal started to rework. And for those that don't remember, Tennessee was the first school to publicly agree to a deal with a high school recruit to induce him to come to school with an NIL deal. It was an $8 million 4-year deal, paying him $2 million a year basically. And they caught some NCAA shrapnel and took them to court. Tennessee took the NCAA to court and said, you can't enforce this. We can do this. And they won that court battle.
Who was that player, Jim?
That was Nico.
Yeah.
It was Nico.
And
they went to court, paid court costs, and won for Nico and that NIL deal.
And wasn't part of the issue with the NCAA was they sent the private plane to get him to bring him to Tennessee, right?
It was one of the things.
Right.
But that was the only rule we had in the NIL. Remember, you can't use it to induce. Everybody
players.
was doing it.
Everybody was doing it, yeah.
You can't use it to induce players to campus.
You can't promise a kid, if you come here, you got $8 million of NIL, you're supposed to negotiate it after they commit. Yeah, right. That was a realistic belief you were going to do that.
If you're throwing it out there and you're trying to negotiate before the Ohio State game, you sure as hell don't really press down after the game.
No.
I mean, just to remind people, they lost by 25. Nico was 14 of 31, 104 yards, no touchdowns.
Wouldn't you think if there were, in fact, a holdout or a threat of a holdout, if there was, in fact, a threat of a holdout, that's when Heupel's camp gets to go back and say, see?
Yeah. No, at that point, I was like, okay, here's our renegotiated contract.
Yeah.
We're going to pay you now $1 million a year.
Yep.
Wait, it was 2.2. Did you just see yourself?
Yeah, no.
Did you just see yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I was freezing my butt off on the sidelines watching that. I don't know about you, Mr. Agent, Mr. Iamaleava, Mr. Whoever.
Listen, Tennessee fans, hats off, man. Rally behind Josh Heupel. I love foot in the ground right here, line in the sand, whatever you want to say. Here's Josh Heupel after the spring game on Saturday talking about moving on from his QB1.
I'm sure I'm going to get asked about this here in a second, so I'll address it on the front end. Today's landscape of college football is different than what it has been. It's unfortunate, just the situation and where we're at with Nico. I want to thank him for everything that he's done since he's gotten here. That's as a recruit to who he was as a player and how he competed inside of the building. And so a great appreciation for that side of it. Obviously, we're moving forward as a program without him. I said it to the guys today. There's no one that's bigger than the Power T, and that includes me. And they hear me say that a lot inside of that team room. This program's been around for a long time with a lot of great coaches, a lot of great players that came before that laid the cornerstone pieces, the legacy, the tradition that is Tennessee football. It's going to be around a long time after I'm done and after they're gone. And that's what's special about being here.
Now, I will agree with Matthew. Tennessee bears some of the blame in this. Matthew says this in the chat room. I mean, they are the ones that did what you were talking about, like caved to all this guy's demands coming out of high school.
They created the animal.
They created the animal here, the monster, whatever whatever analogy you want to use there. And then, when it came time to another analogy, pay the piper, they were like, we're out. But you're the one that created the situation. Now, look, they weren't going to be alone in that, Lance. I think there were a lot of schools that would have jumped in and created that same situation.
I got to ask this, though, because it's a hypothetical. But if this is Arch Manning, there's no way Tennessee does this.
Oh, if this were...
I'm talking about if Arch Manning was in Nico's spot, if he would have played last year.
Do you mean because he's better than Nico or because the name?
The name.
The name?
Yeah.
I just don't think it would have happened.
Well, I mean, let's do this. Who is the best quarterback coming back this year that you know
in the SEC
in college football that you know is the best quarterback coming back?
Wow, that's a really difficult question.
Well, who is the best quarterback last year?
Last year, some would say Cam Ward. Some would say,
I would probably say Cam Ward.
Okay, let's say Cam Ward. Whoever the best quarterback is, that is you've got the best quarterback.
Okay,
and now he's coming back. But you've got a deal in place for 4 years, and he's being paid $2 million, and now that's the normal starting quarterback in the portal price, and he comes back to you and says, "Hey, I want 4." If the quarterback's good enough, you're going to give him 4.
Yeah, and I think that's what it came down to.
And that's
right?
what it came down to. This guy wants more than he's worth, and I'll ask the question right now: do we think Nico already has a place?
Yes.
A lot of people think USC.
Yeah.
That's the general belief is that it's going to be USC.
He's already got a place
in all likelihood.
Texas Tech, people around Texas Tech are saying it's not us because they've been spending money.
Well, they got
out
a
of the
pretty good
wazoo.
quarterback.
Yeah, but they're saying it's not
Yeah.
us. We're
Yeah.
not in on the Nico game. So that was the first place everybody went. They were like,
The $4 billion guy that
is
started
it,
the
is
NIL,
it Texas
right?
Tech? Because they're overpaying
Yeah.
for everybody
Yeah.
right now. And they're like, nope, not us. Not us. And USC, he's from out that way, and they're in need of a quarterback maybe. So
And look, and Lincoln Riley gets generally the best out of quarterbacks, so
Yeah.
he'll probably go improve under
Jaden
Lincoln Riley.
Maeva was good. He was a former UNLV quarterback, but Miller Moss was a downgrade. I think Maeva's probably right there with Miller Moss. They've got to get that position better.
Would you?
go ahead and work on that USC T-shirt in the garnet and gold. We've got
Nico's-
all the Iavas.
All the what?
The
Iavas,
Iavas and
Iamaleava.
Yeah, Nico would be an upgrade.
Would you have a difficult time pulling for him?
Nope.
Okay.
I will.
It's very.
Well,
it's
you will,
Lance
but
is
I-
very mercenary.
I got to say this: I know Heupel after the Hendon Hooker year. The first year they beat Alabama in 150 years, whatever it was. He nearly doubled his salary in the offseason. I don't know if he got a contract extension this offseason, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Probably so. Yeah.
But going back to, well, damn, he got an extension off getting beat by 25. Still the kind of same thing with Nico. And how much of this is to blame on Nico?
Well, we don't know the full story. This always gets blamed on people around the quarterback. Fathers, uncles, agents, fill in the blank, whoever it is. That's what this always gets blamed on.
Coach Nick, remember, is his dad who has started
He was very vocal.
Yeah, I think he has started a one of those programs where you help athletes maximize their value, which is, there needs to be some help out there for some of these families to sort of help them navigate these NIL waters. So I admire him for doing that.
What did y'all hear about Quinshon Judkins when he was playing at Ole Miss?
There was a buzz out there that he, too, at one point may have gone back and renegotiated in the middle of a season.
Yeah, that was always the working theory of the anonymous player that tried to hold out of a big game in season.
Yeah.
The working theory was always.
Well, my point
Quinshon
there was
Judkins.
going to be, I think Ohio State fans found a way to pull for him this year, right?
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah. National championship will do that
Yeah.
for
And he
you.
found a place willing to pay the price that they wanted. And that is part of the market here.
Unfortunately, if this thing plays out right for Nico and he gets a great landing spot and ends up having a better season, then all these athletes are going to be like, look, little bit of a PR bump in the road, but there's no reason not to do it moving forward.
Are you about to give us some more Heupel? Because my thoughts on Heupel. And it's not going to change based on what he says right
Tyler, let's do our Shunnarah spotlight
wow.
right here. More Heupel.
Okay.
More Heupel, and it's our Shunnarah spotlight. And it's always brought to you by Alexander Shunnarah. When you have it, hit it.
The College Football Spotlight.
As Dunaway said, the Shunnarah Spotlight each day presented by our guy, Alexander Shunnarah, trial attorneys, a national firm with southern roots in Birmingham for more than 24 years. They've grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members. They have recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. If you're finding yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah trial attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case.
Josh Heupel gets asked when he knew that they'd be moving on from Nico.
When was it apparent to you that you would be moving forward?
Friday morning, when he's a no-show, you come off the practice field and there's no communication.
Yeah, it sounds like there probably was some sort of agreed upon, well, maybe not agreed upon, but a deadline like, listen, we're going to have this wrapped up by Friday or I'm not showing. Or from Heupel's side,
Yeah, you don't show.
you don't show. We got a spring game Saturday. You're either there or you're not part of the team, one of the two. So there was probably some sort of
Yeah,
deadline.
I am shocked it went down this quickly.
Yeah.
Shocked.
But my question on Heupel was going to be, I don't know where would you guys, before all of this happened, where would you perceive his approval rating among Tennessee fans?
I would have put it as a high B, low A.
I was gonna go in the 90s.
So you go.
I don't know how it couldn't be. He's
Yeah.
beaten Alabama 2 of the last 3 years.
2
He
3
went
years
to a
he's
college
beaten
football
Alabama.
playoff.
College football playoff now. They got destroyed in that college football playoff. But I would still think he was probably.
I was 88 to 92.
Okay.
so-
I mean, to me, this is the best spot Tennessee football's been in since Phil Fulmer in the 90s.
Agreed completely.
Yeah.
But don't you think that it's
100.
almost 100 right now?
Almost
I mean,
100.
he used this situation to make it 100% because
Yeah.
every Tennessee fan's like, Hell yeah, that power T.
And if it was one of those approval ratings 50-50, there'd be some pissed off Tennessee fans probably. Yeah. I can't believe you'd let our quarterback walk without a good backup there. Yeah. I think people distrust his offense.
I think so, but and he gets to stand in front of that and say nobody's bigger than the power T,
which is true.
Which your actions say is true. I mean, whether it's true or not, if you let a quarterback walk because he's shaking you down for more money, your actions say you think nobody's bigger than the power T.
Now, of course, that's what made me think of Arch Manning. If Arch Manning would have signed with Tennessee, I think Manning, that name is not bigger, but I don't think it would go down like this.
Let me tell you about a couple of our sponsors, and we'll continue the conversation because Tennessee does have to play football this year, and they've got to have a quarterback, or the snap just rolls around back there, and it becomes not a very productive offense.
It's a loose ball.
Show brought to you by our friends at Lake Fest. We're closing in on the start of spring and summer, man. For a lot of people, it starts with the Masters. That's the official kickoff of summer, and Lake Fest is another official kickoff.
That's right. 15th annual Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show presented by AM First, May 9 through 11 on Logan Martin Lake in Pell City. It is absolutely free to you. It is Alabama's biggest in-water boat show. 80 boats and vehicles on display, lake lifestyle vendors, food trucks, beer garden, live music all weekend, and tons of giveaways. They'll have a huge Friday night fireworks show that will pay honor to our United States veterans. They'll have a parade on Saturday, the Mermaids and Mateys Parade. And then free mimosas for mom on Sunday. LoganMartinLakeFest.com for more information. That's LoganMartinLakeFest.com. And by the way, first time in the history of Lake Fest, AmFirst is offering a half percent off the interest rates. That could save you as much as $100 a month and up to $12,000 over the life of the loan. See more at LoganMartinLakeFest.com.
Hey, and we are going to hit in the 80s today. I think it's even going to the mid-80s at some point, maybe this coming weekend. You need to make sure that HVAC unit is ready to transition into spring and the warmer weather. Our friends at Heupel Services offering $1,000 off the new HVAC installs, 0% financing. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Heupel Services. Make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with this changing weather. Heupel Services, locally owned and operated independent Trane dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Heupel Services. Hard to stop a Trane, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090 or HempHillServices.com.
We'll talk more about the Nico departure with Josh Pate coming up at the top of the hour. They do have to have a quarterback. 4-star recruit George McIntyre from Brentwood, who Alabama was in on, who picked Tennessee, threw a couple of great passes in their spring skeleton get-together over the weekend. And
Is that what we're calling spring games now?
Jake Merklinger, the third-string quarterback last year, also is there. It's only a one-year temporary patchwork for them because they have, in 2026 coming in, the number one overall player who's a quarterback in Faison Brandon, who picked Tennessee. So the future quarterback is coming in 2026, so they got to get through 1 year. Do you think they find their starting quarterback in the portal, which opens on Wednesday, or will it be the McIntyre-Merlinger show?
Look, I know this is all rah-rah behind Heupel. Heupel's got some targets. I mean, Heupel knows that there would be a quarterback in the portal, or you could convince somebody to get into the portal that would love to play in this system.
Yeah.
I don't think he's flying blind at all.
Well, if in fact there was even a hint of a holdout, whether it materialized or not, a threat or anything materialized. If there was a hint of a holdout going to the Ohio State game, Heupel and staff are like, this could be a problem in spring. We need to make sure.
It's all hands on deck. Everybody be checking out this portal.
That's
Get
right.
on the phones.
We may need it.
Yeah, we need to know that we've got a quarterback.
By rule, though, it can't be SEC to SEC. Like, Nico cannot go to an SEC school and not have to sit out a year.
By rule, though, I talked to somebody this morning that said they talked to somebody at CAA, and they said, hey, if Nico was my guy and he wanted to go in conference and the SEC tried to tell me he couldn't, we'd sue the hell out of the SEC.
I mean, he can go in conference, but he just can't be eligible. And I don't know. I mean, that would be that'd be fascinating if they did that.
Well, that's going to happen sooner or later.
At some point it will, yeah.
And this could be the case. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, the SEC is a membership, and the 16 teams agree to that. So you've agreed to the membership.
I'm just saying somebody will challenge it.
Oh, it'll get challenged at some point. I'm with Dunaway, but the NCAA isn't a membership, and you agree to the membership.
Yeah.
And
Things change.
Stuff gets sued and beat down all the time.
I mean, Augusta National watching. I mean, how different have their membership rules changed over the last decade?
Right. But a little pressure.
I would say this though. I think being a member of the SEC, you wouldn't go get Nico at that point. You know what I mean?
You think there's a gentleman's agreement?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I see what you're saying.
I think you agreed. I mean, like Greg Sankey in the SEC office has prevented players and coaches from coming into the league because of past things. They're like, no, you cannot sign them.
Yeah, but you hire other people's coaches from in the program.
Yeah,
I mean, ask Texas A&M in Texas what went down with the Sloss guy.
Schlossnagel.
So that's what Tennessee has to do. Pate's got more information. We'll talk to him coming up at the top of the hour. Let's get to the Masters.
Hey, can I just clear this up real quick? Because it's being asked in the chat room. Somebody says, well, then how was Jackson Arnold eligible at Auburn? Because he went in the winter window. This is a spring rule.
Yes, exactly.
So we should have cleared that up. That's on us. But it's
Say it again.
If you are in the spring transfer portal, which is the second of the 2 transfer portals in college football, you can't go to another SEC institution and be immediately eligible.
Yeah, we'll use Alabama as an example. If one of their quarterbacks decided to hit the portal Wednesday.
Yeah, let's say Austin Mack, and he went to Florida because Florida may not have DJ Lagway.
Yeah, or to Tennessee because they don't have Nico. He'd have to sit out. If he'd done it back in December, it's no problem.
Yeah, so that's why Jackson Arnold's eligible.
Yeah,
there
so
you
that's
go.
the deal.
All right, go.
Now to the Masters, and Rory finally wins it. What a roller coaster. Let's hear from him, and then I want y'all's reaction to what we saw in Augusta this past weekend. Here's Rory McIlroy on winning the Masters finally.
I'd like to start this press conference with a question myself. What are we all going to talk about next year? It's a dream come true. I've dreamt about that moment for as long as I can remember. You know, there were points in my career where I didn't know if I would have this nice garment over my shoulders, but I didn't make it easy today. I certainly didn't make it easy. I was nervous. It was one of the toughest days I've ever had on the golf course. In a funny way, I feel like the double bogey at the first sort of settled my nerves. I don't know if any Masters champions had 4 doubles during the week, but maybe I'm the first. But yeah, just a complete roller coaster of emotions today. And it's been 14 long years, but thankfully I got the job done.
It was as remarkable a final round as I can ever remember. I mean, you've seen some where the overall play was probably better, but just the ups and downs, Lance, just kept you. Yeah, if you had any interest at all, completely locked in.
I thought it was when Rose had. I forgot what point it was where he was down 4 strokes, and it seemed like there was no way Roy could lose this.
Basically, walking off 10 after Rory made that excellent birdie.
Yeah,
he's pretty much 5 up, and I mean, at that point. He's 5 up, and you feel like, all right, he's got 8 holes to go. He cannot lose 5 shots in 8 holes.
3 bogeys and a double on the back 9, and what do they call it, the second 9?
The second 9, yes.
But I thought more importantly was how incredible the shot was on 17. I had somebody reach out that's a big gambler and golfer. He had a lot on Roy on Wednesday to win this thing, but he wanted me to ask you, was that shot on 13 one of the worst shots of the bunker shot?
Were you hit in the water?
No, wait a minute. 13 was not a bunker shot.
No, the layup.
The layup. Yeah. Okay, yes. Rory is, and you saw this yesterday, and pressure.
Emotional?
Oh, go with that. But pressure is always going to magnify your faults, always, especially in golf. Like, whatever you're most worried about in your game, the moment the pressure hits, that's going to be the first thing that cracks. He's never been a tremendous wedge player. That has been one of his faults as long as he's been on tour, and you saw it completely on display yesterday. He's got all of Georgia left to the pin, and the one place you cannot hit it, I mean, there's one place right there you cannot hit it, is right at the pin, and he dumps it in the water on a wedge shot. Any other course, he could close his eyes and probably hit it to 5 feet.
So do you think that's a situation where he's thinking water?
He's probably, his own admission, he was extremely nervous. I mean, I think he's probably thinking, whatever you do, don't put it in the water, which is normally when you do what?
Hit it in the water.
Hit it in the water. Yeah. And then the wedge he hit on 18, where he hits a complete block and puts it in the bunker on 18 with a wedge. He's got a gap wedge in his hand. All you got to do is get it down in 3 right there.
Yep.
You're hitting one shot and 2 putts, and I putting on the green jacket, and I've got a gap wedge in my hand. There is not a player in the world, in the history of golf, where you give them that deal, they wouldn't take it.
Do you think that putt
hand.
that he did miss, he hits that, 95% of the time probably?
Which one now?
The
Because
putt
he missed a lot.
No, the one he missed on 18 to take it to the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. My dad texted me, he goes, what percentage do you put on this putt? I said, any other tournament, 100%.
Yeah, I thought it was about 75 to myself.
No, I put it 50-50 in that, and because his putter had disappeared on the back nine.
Yeah.
That's, again, that is one of the first signs of nerves when your putter starts to go.
But the playoff hole, and then when Rose hit it to within 10 feet, I was like, oh, my God, what's about to happen here? And then he hits it inside of Rose. That was a gutsy shot right there that ends up allowing him to win the thing.
Well, I forgot. I guess Nance was on 18, right?
Yeah, in the tower or the Butler cabin.
But the approach from Rose was spot on 18. It hit the wrong place.
I would bet, though, even where Rose ball ended up, if you went all day yesterday, probably the only ball closer was the one McIlroy hit in the playoff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great shot on 18.
Yep.
That's a hard pin to get to by design. And, I mean, Rose hit a tremendous shot. I mean, again, I'll say that if you'd given Rose that look to win the Masters, he'd have taken it 10 out of 10 times.
What's crazy is how shaky Patrick Reed was in spots on the back nine, too. I know you liked Reed coming into this tournament, but he holes out, on 17?
17, yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's 2 strokes back.
Yeah.
And you just start looking at, like he had the one, and I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you were watching, where he missed. It was the uncomfortable miss of a putt, and then he comes back around and almost loses his shit totally and almost throws his putter, misses another one when he went double. If you just clean up that one hole, you got a 3-man playoff.
It's crazy that McIlroy made 4 doubles and still won this thing. Stadler had made 3, as they said on the telecast, and won it back in the 79 or early 80s. It was early 80s.
Can I ask you,
Sure.
because this was a discussion that was going on, it was as we watched it from the golf course while we were playing. Patrick Reed, probably not well thought of by the people that run the Masters.
You don't see him in a whole lot of the promos. Like when they show past Masters champions, there's not a whole lot of Patrick Reed in there, which tells you something.
My buddies were saying, they were like, boy, CBS is being forced to show Patrick Reed here because of the way he's playing.
Well, he had no other choice.
They usually try to shy away from certain golfers they know the Masters folks don't like. Do you think they water down how many times you see Patrick Reed
100%.
in the coverage?
I think it was on 12.
Because he's a past champion.
Oh, yeah. He made a birdie somewhere, and it got him into the top 4. And I literally thought, Patrick Reed's tied for 4th. I think I've seen him hit 2 shots all week.
That's right. That's why my buddies were saying. They're like,
they don't ever show him.
Like they never show him because the Masters people are like.
I could believe that.
Yeah. There was.
I'll tell you who they love is Oberg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my gosh, they couldn't show him. I mean, it was
He's a rising star.
It was almost like Tiger.
Yeah, he's a rising star.
Because you get to play, right, until, you get to come to the Masters as past champions forever, right, until you can't play again?
My wife asked me about that, and so initially it started out as a lifetime exemption, but they didn't really do their math there, and I don't guess they realized these guys will play forever if we let them. So now, like Bernard Longer, if you notice Friday, and Fred Couples will be the next one. At some point, they'll tap him on the shoulder. You'll get the shoulder tap, and it'll be like, hey, this next year is going to be your last one. So, go and tell your family and friends. We'll make a big deal. Get everybody here.
Does that mean you've gotten irrelevant and hold?
Oh, yes. That means you're just eating up a spot, and we would like to give that spot to someone else who could actually compete in the tournament. And those guys understand that now. Used to when you won it was a lifetime. You played here in 90. But I think they know now there's going to be the tap on the shoulder at some point.
Like, is Danny Willett still rolling around out there?
Oh, yeah, but he's still playing on the tour, or the European tour primarily.
Yeah, the joke.
No, he's no.
You're talking about like Angel Cabrera.
Yeah.
Well, Angel Cabrera's still playing. And that's a guy they stuck with him. That's a guy that went to prison not long ago, and he's still getting his starts now.
He'll see a lot of him on the CBS coverage.
Oh, you did not. No, you did not.
That was the running joke. Was there's a few of them. They the lifetime green jacket winners that you just as soon, like if they woke up one day and opened up and it was like. Patrick Reed no longer can play golf after that incident or something. Yeah. He's out. He physically can't play. That they would not be crying inside Butler cabin.
Yeah, I would quickly say that shot he hit on 15, that 7-iron on 15.
They got Carl to cut his Achilles.
You can't load up. That shot he hit on 15 is one of the greatest you'll ever see, considering all the circumstances. It's wild, though, to think that he essentially walked off the 10th green with a 5-shot lead, and by his approach on the 15th, he was hitting a shot that if that goes in the water, he loses the tournament. I mean, it's crazy that it came to
How
that.
bad would it have been if he loses that playoff?
Lance, it would have been so hard.
I think I saw when
you saw his emotion winning it.
when they were going to extra holes to the playoff. I thought to myself, if he doesn't win it here, and I didn't think he would, by the way. I thought to myself, he will never win it. This will break him.
He would have had more scar tissue than Greg Norman on this course,
Yeah.
which is saying a mouthful.
This would break him. And now
I
he'll
agree.
probably.
I think he'll win more majors now.
Yeah.
And he'll probably win another Masters at some point.
And I told Jeff Spiegel last night when I was filling in for you on the Zone, we were doing a little pre-show, and I was like, Brownie tells me he hasn't won a major in 11 years. Or Lance tells me he hadn't won a major in 11 years. And Spieg's like, oh, my God, he hasn't since 2014. Like, it surprises people that it's been over a decade since he actually won a major.
I know.
Not just the Masters, any major. And he's like one of the most talked about golfers.
It did look weird when CBS put the graphic up on both his putts to win the career Grand Slam.
Yeah.
You don't see that one a lot.
No, I mean, there you go. I mean, he's only the sixth person ever to do this.
And most of those guys did it in their prime. Like, I guess he's still technically in his prime at 35.
Only 35, yeah.
But those guys did it more compact.
And listen to the names. Gene Sarazen, which doesn't resonate with a lot of people, but he's a big name. Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, Tiger Woods, and Rory McIlroy.
You don't fall backwards into that group right there.
No.
There's a lot of all-time greats. I mean, you didn't say the name Arnold Palmer.
Yep.
You didn't say the name Lee Trevino. You didn't say the name Phil Mickelson. There are a lot of names you didn't say there that are considered top 10 golfers of all time that aren't in that group.
But is he considered a top 5 guy now?
Rory, top 5, no. Top 10, yes. But he could play his way into the top 5. Again, you just said he's 35.
Phil or Rory?
Best career?
Yeah.
Phil's got more majors, but Roy's got the career Grand Slam. I think I'd go Rory.
Yeah. And he's got some runway left where he's going to be competitive. Tiger Woods, the last golfer to get the career Grand Slam, and it was 25 years ago when he did it.
I don't want to say that. The thing about golf.
Were you about to say you don't think anybody will do it?
Yeah.
Spieth is one away.
It is so deceptive, though, and so misleading because when you see a guy playing their best,
right,
you're like, damn, this guy, he can't lose. Like when Koepka would play in some of these majors, when Scheffler, that's another thing for Scheffler not really to be more in the mix with the Ray Roy was up and down was really surprising.
Dude, I said that yesterday. I was floored when I was like, Scheffler would be the next guy to win the career Grand Slam.
No, Spieth's only one away. All he's got to do is win the PGA.
Mickelson's one away, right?
Oh, that's
Mickelson's U.S. Open. Yeah, well, I know. It's all he's got to do. But, yeah, Spieth's one away. Mickelson's one away.
Which one does Spieth need?
PGA.
PGA.
Which is the next one.
And that's the easiest one.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
I shot a 79 yesterday.
Yeah, but
I could win the PGA.
Right.
But I said to myself, Scheffler would be the next to do it. And everybody's like, dude, he hasn't won the U.S. Open, the British, or the PGA.
No, he's
and
won 2 Masters.
What are you talking about? This guy wins majors all the time. They're like, he's won 2 majors, 2 Masters. And I was like, Scotty Scheffler. And they were like, Scotty Scheffler. I said, Scotty Scheffler, he wins them all the time. Nope, just those 2 majors. I thought he wins everything.
Like DeChambeau is one of these guys that you think, it's all about what he did with his body for, how long he was and then he has this bounce back, a complete image change, and then at times over the weekend you think this guy's unbelievable. But is DeChambeau one of those guys that could win a career
he
Grand
could.
Slam?
Absolutely, he could. Yeah. Again, though, he's only got 2 U.S. Opens, so he's got a way to go.
We joked about get ready to not see Jordan Spieth hit shots for a while at the Masters because he was talking about mud balls.
Oh yeah,
which is a no-no apparently.
That is correct. Yeah.
Morikawa was one of those guys.
He could do it, yeah. But again, he's only got 2 right now.
Yeah. Which ones?
Morikawa has a
U.S. Open,
U.S. and a British.
Yeah. So he's got to tame the Masters.
He's got to tame the Masters and find a PGA, the easy one.
All right. When we come back. Departures from Alabama, the landing spot for Jaron Stevenson, and the new guy that went in there, and is Nate Oates really in the mix to be the Nuggets head coach? We'll talk about that. The show being brought to you by a couple of our great sponsors. One of them, our buddy Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. There's nobody better at the roofing business than Greg from Pell City. First off, he is such a good down-home local guy who cares about you that he gives you a absolutely free, no obligation roof inspection. Call him on his cell number, 205-542-3531. 542-3531. free roof inspection. He's A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. He's fantastic at replacing your roof repairs after storm damage. In fact, he's got a builder's license. He can do some amazing things for you there. It's our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing, Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531. Or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. And also our friends at NASCAR.
Yeah, Talladega Superspeedway is where NASCAR is coming for the Jack Links 500 weekend, April 25th through 27th. You can be part of that weekend and enjoy that white-knuckle NASCAR racing at Talladega Superspeedway. Get on board, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. That is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. And enjoy 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. The Jack Links 500 NASCAR Weekend, Talladega Superspeedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Heupel Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Heupel are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Heupel Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Heupel Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the refreshed collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway is ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to this track, you've got to come check it out. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway. It's April 25th through the 27th, and you can get your tickets right now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. That's TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, May 2nd through the 4th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, O'Ward, Dixon, and Newgarden will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness Miss America Abby Stockard give the most iconic command in all of racing as the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is
Hey, back with you on the next round. Viewing menu every day brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Before we talk Alabama basketball departures and the changing landscape of that NIL, Michelson lets you see everything clearly.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. I equate this back when I got the procedure done in 2003. I wore the contacts. It really, and that was the same year I got my first HD TV.
Wow.
It literally was going from regular to HD TV. You could even say 4K, 8K, whatever. The difference has been amazing. If you're out there riding around and you've been to see our friend Dr. Mark Michelson, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But stop procrastinating. If you're wearing the contacts or the eyeglasses, you're wasting money each and every year. I'm speaking from experience. Got the procedure. Now I've got 2015 vision, better than 2020. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you, and she's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Got a little something for everybody today. First off, you got at 7 p.m., you got a screen unseen at AMC, and I cannot confirm this, but rumor is that the movie they're showing tonight is an early screening of The Accountant 2 to build up good word of mouth for it.
Yeah, I went back and watched The Account. Like, I saw it when it first came out, and I thought it was okay. And then I went back and watched it a couple of weeks ago with Jack and Jace to tell them, hey, 2's coming out, because they had never seen it. And they both really liked it. So I'm somewhat looking forward to that. You?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I had a lot of fun with the first one, and this one seems like it's going to focus more on
John Bernthal?
Yeah, John Bernthal.
Yeah, which I think his character is much better.
I agree. Yeah. He does a good job with that sort of character type.
He does.
He plays it in everything. And then at 7 p.m. on the FX channel, if you're going to stay at home tonight, one of the last great comedy movies, in my opinion, and that's 21 Jump Street with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill.
It is so underrated. I never thought I would like that, because I remember growing up with the Johnny Depp 21 Jump Street. And I was like, how are they going to make this a movie, especially with Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum? But it's really, really funny. Have you guys ever seen it?
It was a TV show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch the TV show, never watched
Yeah,
the movie.
I'm with Dunaway. Didn't see either.
Oh, y'all need to see the movie. You don't even need to, obviously, the TV show. I never watched it either. It's not like there's a correlation outside of the premise behind it. I watched, so Black Mirror, new season's out, season 7. One of my favorite shows. I got to watch first episode, which is so dark. But I watched the USS Callister, the sequel. And all I can think about, like, how do people have the mind to write this kind of stuff? Like, it is, they're incredibly way too intelligent. It's kind of scary where we are in technology and how people
really
can actually
is.
write this.
Well, I mean, if scary writing, look to the first episode of Black Mirror ever. That one was really disturbing. That was the Prime Minister.
Oh, yeah, with the pig?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think Charlie.
I watched that one because he was raving about that show, and I was like, that's it for me.
Yeah, I'd recommend not starting with that one.
The USS Callister. It's
the first one.
They're not connected. You don't have to watch it.
They have this virtual game, but the guy that creates it goes around the office and gets DNA from people that kind of he thinks mistreat him or people he's jealous of. And he's got their DNA in this game.
Oh, my gosh.
It is like one of the most disturbing things ever, but it's so well done, and it does have a comedic, angle to it. But, I mean, that just shows you, man, how crazy deep writing these guys have.
And then one last thing, if you're a true crime fan, there's been a new show on the ID network called Hollywood Demons. They've got a new episode tonight. Last week was The Dark Side of the Power Rangers, and this week is called Housewives Gone Bad. It's just a look into the real housewives. Apparently one of them has built up a multi-million-dollar empire entirely on fraud and scamming, and there's another one that has murder allegations against her.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. If I don't never heard of the network, I probably will not watch it. What's the name of the network? ID?
ID, Investigation Discovery.
Yeah.
I bet there's a lot.
out there.
Big body count on ID in 24 hours.
I would imagine so, yeah. I bet you get the first 48, too.
To Alabama basketball, after I remind you, our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama taking care of your health, guys, as you get a little bit older. So much you need to stay on top of. Early detection literally saves your life. Find one of 16 locations near you. 205-930-0920. Urology Centers, Alabama.com. From prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomies, and everything else that can go wrong internally with you, they're on top of it.
Good hands, great customer service, wonderful folks. 35 urologists, 16 locations. Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. As expected, and I'd heard this all the way back during the NCAA tournament, Jaron Stevenson, who had put his name in the portal last week, we reported, with no contact. According to reports, he's going to end up at Tennessee. 6'10", had 63 three-pointers in 74 games. And so he's going back to Chapel Hill where his parents were athletes. He's a Chapel Hill kid, and he's going to go back and play for North Carolina, who has opened up.
Okay, you said Tennessee for a second. I was like.
Did I say Tennessee?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. North Carolina. North Carolina is where he's going. Alabama to North Carolina. 6'10", 63 three-pointers in 74 games. Started about 27 games for Alabama. He's got an NBA body. We'll see if he can get that NBA shot. But North Carolina is one of those programs that is opening up the checkbook and trying to do it all in basketball again. So there's where Stevenson goes. Over the weekend, we also find out that Darion Reed, the McDonald's All-American, the highest-ranked recruit Nate Oates has had at Alabama, will not be back. He's in the portal. He has a do not contact. So he knows where he's going, a 5-star guy. 6'8", only was a 6-2 guy because he battled injuries all year. This is a big loss because he would have been a starter next year.
I agree with you. I think he would have been a starter. The do not contact is like the most obvious red flag. Can't you just screen calls? Like, just don't answer their calls. Just don't call them back. But when you say do not contact, like, it's just so obvious that there's been tampering done with some of these guys.
Yeah, I agree. But I agree. I have no. Yeah, I'm trying to.
I mean, gun to head, you would have been like, "Oh, Stevenson's going to Carolina."
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody is stunned by that at all.
No, again, before the games in Newark, I'd heard the buzz.
Well, I guarantee you can make a call right now and find out exactly where Reed's going.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
A lot of Alabama fans were, and I'm just looking that, based on what I've seen on social media and based on what I'm seeing in the chat room, seems like this is pretty widely held belief. They were okay with Stevenson going.
Yeah, they're mistaken, but okay.
Okay, and I was going to say Dunaway likes Stevenson probably better than anybody not named Mr. or Miss Stevenson or Nate Oates.
Well, you don't find a lot of 6'11" guys with his skill set. Now, look, it didn't equate to mass production.
That's the thing.
I
He's
know.
got that skill set, but I don't ever get to see it.
But we see guys bust out all the time, and it would not shock me if Stevenson ends up being close to a double-double guy this year for Hubert Davis.
That's actually what I expect.
Elite defender, by the way. Elite defender.
It's what I expect is that he's going to go to North Carolina and it's just going to click for him there, and everybody's going to say, how did Nate Oates let this guy go? But if you're watching it, how often did Nate Oates get that player, Jim? I mean, what percentage of the time do you think Nate Oates in Alabama got the Jaron Stevenson you think Jaron Stevenson can be?
In 2 years, I think they got it 27% of the time.
Oh, if that.
A quarter is probably fair.
Yeah. I didn't want to go 25%, so I went 27%. Yeah.
But the other half of that is a lot of Alabama fans at the chat room, and I saw this on social media too. Boy, they hate the Reed exit. That's the one. If you had said, all right, you can pick between Stevenson and Reed, I think Reed wins that one very easily.
Future NBAer.
Yep.
When he's healthy, at 6'8", he could guard the 2, the 3, the 4. He's a scorer. He's a big body guy, can get to the rim, can handle the basketball.
I think he's more 6'5", 6'6", but I do agree with you. I think he's already one of these guys that probably knows exactly where he's going. A lot of people believe it will be Georgia.
He's a Georgia native.
Yeah, and it came down to Georgia and Alabama, and I think Florida State the first time around.
Yeah, I will say they have money to spend right now because Asa Newell is off to the NBA draft, so NIL money available.
Back to Stevenson, a lot of people in the chat room are saying, I don't know if he's got interest enough in rebounding to get a double-double.
Yeah.
I think if he wants to play at the next level, and I think
better
that's
figure it out.
Goal, yeah.
Okay, the big question about Nate Oates, I'll ask you guys after we remind you that our friends at the Golfus are ready. If you're fired up about the Masters and want to have a great office outing, you can do it at the Golfus.
Yeah, one thing I always remind people of the Golfus is after you watch a course on the tour over the weekend, you can go play it for yourself at the golfers. I'll just put that out there. I mean, like,
yeah, you're dogging out Rory for how bad the layup was on 13.
Go see if you can do better. Yeah. Go.
I guarantee I could find that water.
Go put a club in your hand at the golfers. It is always dry there. It is always 70 degrees there. Never rained out, never delayed by weather. Games are on in the Bay there, so you can watch some of the Major League Baseball, the NBA playoffs while you're playing. And listen, I mean, you have office meetings all the time. You know they're boring, right? You're the boss, but you know they're boring meetings. Go have a meeting in a fun place and build some team as well while you're at the golfers. Bring your own food, bring your own drink, bring your own alcohol, bring your own clubs. TheGolfist.com for more information and to book a bay. TheGolfist.com.
Okay, big keep for Alabama. Preston Murphy, Indiana's new coach, made a run at the top recruiter for Alabama, Preston Murphy. He's staying with the Tide. But in Vegas, Nate Oates is like 5th in the betting odds to be the next coach of the Denver Nuggets.
Now, I would say Furman has taught us coach betting odds are pretty. He calls it a very inefficient market.
Right.
But a lot of times it's thrown out there to get attention for a sports book, and very little really ever happens on this.
I don't want to jinx this. I don't think Nate Oates is off to the NBA at this point or ever. But if you're going to go to the NBA, it's not like you're going to take – this isn't the New Orleans Pelicans or the Atlanta Hawks or the Washington Wizards. This is a guy where you've got an MVP waiting on you there, a guy who averaged a triple-double. If you're ever going to go to the NBA, you don't usually get an opportunity to do it with an MVP.
Well, I will say, Jokic, though, is 30 years old, so, he still has, 2, 3, 4 years in that prime window. But outside of Jokic and Jamal Murray, I mean, how good is this roster? I don't know. You're a Jokic, bad breakaway literally from not even making the postseason. And the West, by the way, is so loaded. Just watch the postseason this year in the Western Conference, and literally there are 4 or 5 teams that can win the West.
Yeah, that roster that we're talking about is in the 4-5 series in the Western Conference playoffs.
Against the Clippers.
To your point, against the Clippers. The other thing we've talked about with Jokic is he has at least hinted, and there has been a lot of chatter around him, that he might be an early retirement guy too.
Yeah. He's doesn't sound like he loves living in America.
No.
Doesn't want to say extra days for the parade after the championship.
Yeah.
But, this is another thing. I mean, Oates, how old are his kids?
I think
they're high school age.
He has one that's just starting high school all the way through college.
Well, and I'm guessing, again, he got a divorce. Like, I would think the kids probably would stay here. And I know, that's a tough gig as a father, too, trying to balance those hours. But if he wants to see his family at all, there is no way he's taking that job.
Yeah, that's always the comeback for people who, when they start talking about Nate leaving, is, he loves his family, wants to be close to his family. I don't know anything about his personal life. I'm just saying basketball-wise, there are headaches among headaches now to be a college coach as opposed to the NBA. As we are seeing this in football and in basketball. Look at this stat from Jeff Goodman. Jeff Goodman says that there are at least 15 teams, in his opinion, 15 teams that are going to have a $10 million NIL roster this year. Now, I can tell you that Alabama had one of the best rosters they've ever assembled in the history of Alabama basketball last year, and I think their NIL was closer to $4 million than it was to $10 million. So they were able to put together an elite roster for $4 million. Now that's tripled. Other people are saying there are 8 teams that are going to have $10 million rosters. Goodman thinks it'll be as high as 15. Projected elite guys, $2.5 to $4 million a player. Diabata is getting $5 million from BYU.
Yeah, and this is per year. This is no longer the Nico deal where you come in for 3 years and get $8 million.
That's right. Projected all-league player up to $2.5 million. Starters, $1.5 million. Bench players, $700,000.
Yeah, here's what you've got to be able to do. You've got to be able to identify, and I know this is really easy, the Janai Brooms, the Mark Sears, the Walter Clayton Jr.'s, kids that are playing at Iona and kids that are playing at Ohio and Morehead State. And how difficult is that to do, to think these guys are just going to ultimately be able to translate and be that productive? But if you can find those guys, you can get them for 1 year, and you can get them on the cheap for 1 year. But that second year, you're either going to pay them or lose them.
Yeah, the Mark Sears.
Yeah.
I mean,
You had to keep paying Janai Broom and Mark Sears and all those guys.
And I've heard Alabama likes to, I don't want to say do it on the cheap when it comes to NIL, but they're not spending the type of money that a lot of these other programs are. And you got to figure you're going to ultimately have to, though.
I've been told Oates feels like his system helps him maybe do it a little cheaper than others because it is a system that guys like playing in. It's the type of play, hence the reason he's been mentioned for the NBA. The NBA is playing.
I feel really confident saying, I guarantee you, and you guys might have seen this, I haven't seen it anywhere, but Golden's roster this year was less than Oates' roster was.
I would believe that, yeah.
I would believe that.
And it was probably middle tier in the SEC.
So NBA for Nate Oates this year or in the future, you think he'll go one day? He's
maybe
50 years old right now.
Maybe one day, but again, I know it's a pain in the ass, but if you can get the right general manager in and you've got a staff around him, and it becomes kind of an art, like we know what these players are worth, we're just going to move on. Like from a Stevenson and a Reed, we didn't think they were worth it. They move on. We find somebody else. I mean, maybe he gets in that mode. I mean, sooner or later, I could see where it would wear you down. I will stick by it. I think you guys agree. Like the Nico situation, that was something Nick Saban saw coming.
Yeah.
And something he didn't want to deal with.
Yeah. More on the NIL later on, both football and basketball. One of the big problems, and we'll attack it several different ways, but Josh Pate has some insider information, and we'll get to Josh on the other side about what went on this past weekend. But Alabama basketball, like every basketball program, in a little bit of a transition, and we wanted to get to that coming off of another great season that made it to the Elite Eight there. Reconstruction in Tuscaloosa going on. Same thing happening down at Auburn on their Final Four team as they put together their roster for the upcoming year. Basically, it's just, in basketball particularly, it's a new roster almost every year.
Yeah.
It is almost total
That's what you need to
reconstruction.
expect, yeah.
It's almost nip and tuck. Was that the old show?
Nip tuck.
That was it,
Nip tuck.
Nip
Yep.
tuck. All right. Show being brought to you by two great sponsors. One of them are our friends at New York Butcher Shop.
New York Butcher Shop, great place to stop in. You don't really want to deal with dinner. I mean, Jim and the guys will have basically everything ready for you, especially those side dishes. You just throw it in the oven. They're absolutely fantastic. He can have all the great meats ready for you right there, from the steaks, the smashed burgers, great ribs as well. Fantastic selection of fine wines and desserts. You can also just stop in and get the great deli sandwiches for lunch or dinner. They are massive. Eat half there, take half home. The New York Butcher Shop, 2 locations, the original Cahaba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
And when it came time to redo the master bath of the Brown house, my wife Jennifer jumped on the internet, scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. She picked Brad Bell, AlabamaBathRemodels.com to see more. Scott shows you before and afters all the time of the master bath in my house. You could see all the work that Brad has done there at AlabamaBathRemodels.com. He specializes in master bath kitchen and master bedroom closets. You can get him to come bid your job, 205-422-1758 or AlabamaBathRemodels.com. His name is Brad Bell. He does tremendous work. His crews were fantastic with us. See more, AlabamaBathRemodels.com or 205-422-1758. Josh Pate talks the Nico situation and more college football next.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services before is greater than those of other lawyers.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR is Talladega Super Speedway, and it's ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to the Talladega Super Speedway, you have to check it out. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every single turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Don't miss the action. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect Southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park May 2nd through 4th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Experience 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, Ferris wheel, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Back with you, hour 2. We're about to get all the 411, all the knowledge from Josh Pate about Nico, the NIL. His show was tremendous last night. There's no guest that comes on that I try to impress more than Josh Pate. I will tell you that I'm working hard at Way to Wellness, our journey to healthy living, a planforme.com, just so when I see Pate at SEC Media Days, he will say, man, Dunaway, you have shaped up. Way to go, man. You don't look round anymore. You've got a little bit more of a manly figure. Maybe you won't use those words, but you can get looking better with our friends at Way to Wellness, a planforme.com. No contracts, no sign-up fee, and that first consultation is absolutely free. A planforme.com.
You should probably know Pate's now engaged. He is. He's a promised man.
Yeah,
that's right.
And I think Pate knows by now, Dunaway's always this awkward.
Are you the kind of person who relies on the external motivation? Do you need doubters? Do you need me to tell you still got a lot of work to do?
Are you kidding me?
Do you
Yes.
need the wind in your sails?
No. Yeah, I am that. I need all the external motivation, and I look at scoreboards. I do all the bad stuff. All the external things bother me as well.
Yeah.
Okay, because I can do the doubt. There was a certain college football playoff head coach last year who I texted every game day and told that he was terrible, his team was hopeless, and he was going to lose, and they ended up making the playoff. So it can work. I've already tested the theory. It can work.
Rhett Lashley?
That's exactly who it was. That is precisely who it was.
That's who I was going to guess, yeah.
I mean, it was at 1 of 12.
Yeah. I used to tell Dunaway when he was hosting the Nick Saban show, I was like, if that man knew how much you were affected by external factors, even as somebody as small as the
he wasn't even
television show-
associated with the program. I can't have this guy around.
Yeah, well, he eventually did. It was after the Texas loss. He was on the show in August. I'd bragged about having my handicap finally down to 9.8 in the August show, and then I was on the coach's show after they lost to Texas. And in the commercial break, I was like, ever since I bragged to you about the 9.8, I've shot in the 90s every time. What do you think's wrong? And he goes, it's your mind. He goes, you hit a bad shot on hole 1 or 2, and you're thinking, well, today's not going to be a 79, is it? And I was like, that's exactly what's happening. He goes, he said some things to me I can't say on the air here, but he basically was coaching me up that the external factors aren't good. Roy's got a little bit of that. McIlroy does, doesn't he, Pate?
I got worried yesterday when he was walking off 17. He had that look where he looked back at the scoreboard, and I screenshot it, past tense a screenshot, and I was worried that was going to end up being his iconic external factor, like doomsday photo.
I love that. Past tense.
All right, let's talk about what happened over the weekend. And you said on your show that this is nothing new for the Iamaleava family, that even going back to pre-Ohio State game last year, they were wanting a new NIL contract, and it finally came to a head this weekend.
Yeah, so he's not the only one. There were many, many different you can call them players. I would call them representatives of players, because it's normally not the player himself. But they looked at a situation that's really jacked up. They took advantage of a jacked up situation. And, the way it was explained to me, Brownie, it's just egregious, but like this is the way it is. They looked at their current deal in hand, and then they looked at the fact that they were in the playoff. This is not just Nico's folks. Let me stress that. And they said, well, we kind of look at it as we were getting paid X amount of money for a season. But now that we're in the postseason, don't we deserve more?
Wow.
And then there's no one standing around to say, no, you can't do that. No, that's against the rules. It's just everything goes. You get to do whatever you want to. It's like the purge NIL style. So they exercised their right to go and ask for more money. Now, here's the part you don't know. Would anyone have actually held out of a playoff game? That's obviously the leverage you're relying on. It's unspoken in the room. But if we're in the playoffs at Pate State and Lance is my starting quarterback and he comes to me before game week and says, I need more money, obviously what he wants me to think is, oh, I need more money, and I'm supposed to fill in the blank. But it didn't happen that way this past cycle. But it does go to show you that if you're already on that kind of slippery slope, if you're already in the first few cycles of this whole new world, in a world where people are thinking, if we make the playoff, we can use that as leverage to get more money, and then we'll do it again after spring, obviously that's untenable. And there's still this vocal but vast minority over in the corner saying, no, this is the system working exactly as it's supposed to. This is the way free markets work. Well, piss on that when it comes to college football then, because that's not how college football is supposed to work. That's not how it's supposed to operate. And I've just so radically shifted lately in talking about this, and I'm a lot more unapologetic about it. And I just outright admit, my motivation is not the best interest of any one football player or athlete. My motivation is what is the best interest of college sports overall, long term. So I'm rooting for whatever is in the best interest of college sports, and whatever it is, this is not it.
So Nico's old enough to fight for our country, Pate. So I think he is old enough to bear some of the responsibility. I do feel bad for some of these kids because I think the dad, the uncle, the agent, all these guys are getting involved and telling them what they need to do. I don't know anything about Nico. So, like, behind the scenes, I don't know how much you've heard, how big of a character guy he is. Is he a guy his teammates like? But even outside of that, I know they went to a playoff this year, but he averaged 200 yards passing per game, which is a small number. He's got 6'6" size. You can't coach that. He's got a lot of upside, but how good of a quarterback are they losing? And do you know anything personally about Nico, like behind the scenes? Is he a good team guy? I know that sounds like a weird question to ask based on the fact that he's no longer there in April, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, so I want to go in order of what you said there. You're right. He's a legal adult, and so it's neither of the two extremes. The two extremes are totally blame the kid, and the other extreme is, well, it's not his fault. He didn't know any better. It's neither of those. It's obviously somewhere in between. The tact that I've taken is it just kind of sucks that you're put in this position where you're making these decisions that you're so ill-informed to make. You're 19, whatever years old. If you were 38 years old and you had full hindsight at your disposal, of course you'd tell your dad or your representative, get lost. I'm going to make this choice for myself. it's the first time around, and it'll be the only time around for anyone in this position. So yeah, it sucks, but you do have to manage your own affairs better than that, ill-equipped though you may be. What kind of quarterback is he? To me, is very, very much still incomplete. I think you and I both know when you pay 7 figures for a quarterback, you're not paying for him to be a freshman All-American. You'd love for that to happen. Michigan would love for Bryce Underwood to be a freshman All-American. They're playing the long game with him. They're thinking 2026, 27, 28. And I think that was what Tennessee was doing with Nico. And, of course, after a situation goes south, everybody at the program that views itself as being scorned has a motivation to paint someone in a negative light. So you're going to hear some stories come out about him over the past 72 hours that paint a less than glowing image of him. I don't know that personally. I've never known him to be a bad character guy. I've never known him to be a bad locker room guy. I'd only heard good things about him up until this past week. So I'm going to dismiss that as anecdotal sour grapes because I don't know any better. But what I will say is, so how do you look at this? Like, if you guys are general managers at various programs around the country, I got asked this by a GM 2 days ago. Is the reason I'm presenting it this way. They said, we may, in the normal world, pursue him if he were just available. But we view him as radioactive right now. The whole situation is radioactive. We don't want to touch it. We think it would divide our locker room if we brought him in. We don't want to bring the dad or the representation in, the whole helicopter parent scenario. We just don't want anything to do with that, which is why I look at it, and I think the best thing that could happen for him right now is if those who were representing him took the arrows publicly and stepped up and said, it's on us. We messed this up. We're the bad guy. He didn't really have anything to do with it. He trusted us, and we misrepresented him. Because at least that gives him a fighting chance to restore his image. And at least that gives him a fighting chance to go play somewhere else and not be viewed the same way that, like, a heel pro wrestler is viewed. Because right now, that's almost the way it feels like he'd be treated no matter where he landed.
Yeah. Nico, old enough to fight for our country and also old enough to accept deals from our enemy to fight against us if he chose to do so. I agree with you. I think he, at this point, would be one of the most hated guys in college football, that fans would cheer against him because of this. Am I wrong about that? He is the heel of college football, as you say.
Yeah, he's the face of something that a lot of people have been turned off by. That's what he is. And so you're not going to change that by just going and committing somewhere and working hard and keeping your mouth shut, because the die is already cast. And that's why, like, I'm looking around at the people who are probably mostly responsible for this mess becoming what it is to begin with. Your image frankly doesn't matter right now because you're not the player. So you can afford to be the bad guy. You can afford to step out in front and take the arrow, so to speak. I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if anyone around him has the foresight to do that, but they ought to do that because there is nothing left that could enhance his value if status quo remains the same. I don't even know if he goes and succeeds somewhere else, if he ever becomes a feel-good story. And by the way, guys, that's if he has everything together from the perspective of playing the position. There was still a lot to be desired about his on-field play. Even if he was at Tennessee this year, there was still a lot of question mark around him. So I can't help, anytime this kind of stuff happens, I can't help but fast forward 20 years and ask myself, what is this person thinking about the way his career panned out and how many different roads he would have liked to have gone down? We all play that game in our lives. It's just most of us weren't in position to generate generational wealth off our athletic ability at age 19.
Josh Pate hosts Josh Pate's College Football Show every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. You can see it on his YouTube channel. Go follow him on social media at Josh Pate CFB, at Josh Pate CFB. He's on the Shunnarah Hotline, the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. In the Josh Pate Football Show opinion, Dan Lanning's participation in this story is what?
That I've heard rumors of. I have not reached out to confirm that, but I think either Lanning or someone associated with Oregon sort of sent up the flare here. And if that's true, and I don't know that it is, but if it is true, I appreciate it. And if it is true, it reflects a lot of the sentiment I've gotten from being out on the road all spring. I hadn't gone to Oregon this spring, but I've gone to over a dozen major programs this spring, and that has sort of been the sentiment from a lot of staffers, specifically head coaches, of looking around and saying, yeah, we want to compete. And yeah, we may hate these dudes on the field of play, but it is past time to work together to regulate this ourselves if no one else is going to step in and regulate this. Because really, aside from a few rogue exceptions to the rule, most of the coaches want the guardrails. Most of the coaches actually don't like it being the way it is. And half of them even participate in it knowing, well, I've either got to get with the program as it is right now or get drowned by it. But all things equal, they'd love to rein it in. And then the follow-up question, I won't even make anyone in there waste their breath to ask it, is, well, aren't they somewhat culpable for us even going down this road to begin with? Sure, I don't know anyone in the room that's totally blameless on it. If Lanning did what they're saying he did, and he sort of tipped off everyone that Nico was sniffing around, or Nico's representatives were sniffing around, good for Dan Lanning, because I can tell you that's not the only program, if it happened, that Nico's folks had engaged behind the scenes, shall we say, in the last few weeks.
Okay, so everybody believes the SEC is a non-factor when we're talking about destination. I spoke to somebody this morning, and they are well-versed in this space. They said they talked to somebody at CAA, and they said if Nico was our client and he wanted to go in conference, we would sue to file an injunction, and we would see where this thing goes. Do you think ultimately something like this happens? Is there any chance, in your opinion, that he could go to one of 15 other institutions in the SEC?
Yes, I do think so. Having no specific knowledge of it, yeah, I think so. What you just said, extrapolate it out. That's my view on any rule right now. I assume no rules are enforceable. I just assume that there are some people haven't challenged legally yet. So if we were to wake up this morning and randomly he's gone to Ole Miss or A&M, I'm just throwing out names there. Initially, we would say, well, that makes no sense. He's not allowed to go there. But then we would think, is he not allowed to go there because a piece of paper says it, or is he not allowed to go there because of an actual rule that's enforceable? But then the follow-up, Lance, could be this: what if he transfers to an SEC program and everyone says, ooh, he's not eligible to play this year, and they say, yeah, we know. He probably needs a year to develop behind our guy anyway. Kind of the way Dante Moore did last year. He starts for UCLA one year, then he goes to Oregon, and you don't see him at all last year because he needed a year to develop, and now he's going to start for Oregon this year. I could see that playing out. But, yeah, I agree with you, man. If I ran an agency, I'm not looking out for the best interest of college athletics at that point. I'm just looking out for the best interest of a client. If I want him to land in the conference, I'll land him in the conference, and then I'll fight it legally.
Can you afford to pay this guy to back somebody up, though?
Well, they paid him $2 million to be a redshirt one year.
Yeah, I know, but I guess. But I think Tennessee thought that was the future. But I guess if you're going to get 1 year out of him, I don't know.
Well, how much do you trust your evaluation of him? How much do you actually have to pay him? For all we know, the market is $800,000 for him right now. I mean, I know what they were chasing. I know the figure they were chasing, but you may want to go out on the street corner and make $4 million today. I know your worth on the street. It's decent, but it's not $4 million. And so maybe that's what he commands right now.
If you could write this headline, where would be the most controversial spot for him to end up? Georgia, Alabama.
I think so. It wouldn't be controversial for him to land at North Carolina. It would just be an eyebrow raiser, because it would be the whole Belichick thing. I think what you just said would be the most controversial. Well, I'll tell you one thing that would be controversial is if it were Oregon, but Oregon doesn't need him. That would be if Lanning sent up the flares to piss everyone off and then said, and we'll take him anyway. Yeah, that'd be controversial. But I think what you said would be the most controversial if he landed at an SEC program, because the minute we saw that headline, we would know. Like if he went to Florida or if he went to Alabama or Georgia, we would know immediately someone thinks they can circumvent this rule, and now that's what the rest of June and July and August is going to be filled with headlines of.
Dan Lanning baiting the trap and then harvesting the prey. That would be unbelievable. There are people that still believe that this House resolution, when it's passed, will solve all these problems. How naive is that?
If you think that any move is going to solve all of college football's problems, I think in general that's naive. I I've shifted my feel so radically on this. I've shifted my opinion, my personal preference so radically on this over the last couple of years, because I'm the guy who forever banged the drum. I don't want federal intervention in college athletics. Keep Congress as far away from college athletics as possible. But the more I've looked at all the available options, the more I think that's the best one. Now, I'm in the minority on that. I acknowledge that. Most people in our business, they don't think that. They think you just need to make them employees and then you collectively bargain and that's the route you go down. I personally am not willing to accept the collateral damage that does to the rest of college athletics. That's just me. That's the way I feel about it. And so I don't know if you guys noticed Dellinger's story last night on Yahoo Sports. It was kind of buried under all the noise about Nico in Tennessee, but he said bipartisan. They're probably as close to getting a deal right now, a law, as they've ever been, and it would give limited antitrust exemption to be able to enforce the House settlement if it is codified, and it would also include not classifying athletes as employees. And here's the thing. Dunaway, I don't know if you've noticed this. No players are complaining about the current state of college athletics.
No.
It's all adults claiming to represent the players. The players are about to make a ton of money no matter what. Like, they got it good no matter what. What's in the best interest of college, not just football, college athletics overall? I think that's the way. And I never would have said that a year and a half, 2 years ago.
But hell, Josh, the NBA, I mean, there are guys who are going to be late first round guys who are coming back to college because they can make more money. I'm sure the NFL guys are sitting there going, man, if we didn't have this NFLPA, if we had this college set up, I could be making more money than I'm making right now. It's insanity. These kids in college have no rules compared to what the NFL and the NBA kids have.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the other thing. We've talked about this on the show before, but now that it's getting closer to reality, I'll tell you behind the scenes what a lot of programs are hoping exists, and that is in the revenue sharing system. If I'm at Alabama and I'm a freshman, the system in a perfect world would be set up to where I'm guaranteed more if I stay here as a sophomore, and then more as a junior and more as a senior. It's just an elevated earning system that incentivizes me to stay in Tuscaloosa. It doesn't prohibit me from leaving. You don't outlaw the portal because that'll always be illegal. You can't restrict movement. What you can do is heavily incentivize through your new structure of revenue sharing guys staying put. And you can work language in there of what happens if someone's head coach leaves. You can do all that. No one's against that. But I just think it would greatly cut down on the roster churn if guys were merely guaranteed, even for the 52nd guy on the roster, there is good six-figure earning potential for me here if I just stay here. Even if I'm not starting, if I'm on the roster, if I stay here, I'm going to earn.
Yeah, the NBA has that though, Brownie. They have you can get more money by staying with your team instead of going with the free agent.
But the other side of that too, Pate, is if there is some sort of financial compensation on the other side, so whoever lands Nico owes Tennessee whatever's in that contract, you'll slow tampering down because I better want him if I got him in the portal because I'm going to pay for him.
Oh, I'm all for that. I'm really all for the reciprocal, basically player tariffs is what we're talking about. But
that's right.
I'm all for the reciprocal payment, especially to the G5 and FCS level. Because what happens to those guys is the most jacked up.
Correct.
They do their job. They evaluate and recruit properly, and then they work their tail off to develop a guy for 2 years. And then after spring, Ohio State has a need, and so they just come and pluck him to maybe not even start for him, but just to exist on their two deep. And then come December, that staff still gets judged off their win-loss record, even though they're 5-7 because they did such a good job. All their starters were in demand, and they couldn't do anything to hold on to them.
All right, he is Josh Pate. Josh Pate's College Football Show is excellent. You guys love it. Continue to give him thumbs up. Make sure you set your alerts. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. You can find the links to do all of that at Josh Pate CFB, or just go on YouTube and search the Josh Pate College Football Show. Always a fun time talking with you. Again, congratulations on the upcoming nuptials. It will not be a fall wedding, we know, but we hope it will be soon.
Yeah, that's at least one win I could give you this morning. I appreciate it.
Hey, Pate, real quick, the documentary Joplin, Missouri on Netflix, the tornado documentary, is it good?
All right, you should have asked me this 10 minutes ago.
Sorry.
I'm irate
because I started it. I watched
the
first 3 minutes, and I couldn't decide whether or not I wanted to devote that kind of time to it.
Everyone in the storm chasing community loves it. I don't like it at all. I think it's very sensationalized. And the thing about an EF5 tornado is you don't have to sensationalize that. You can just tell the story of it. I don't need some chick with an eyebrow ring telling me she found herself in the eye of a tornado. Because I kid you not, that is something that is said in this documentary. It was still for a second. And we looked up and we realized we were in the eye. This is not Hurricane Heupel, people. It's a tornado. There is no calm eye of a tornado. So that's my review. 1 star at best.
1 star.
I'm glad I shut it down.
Do not watch.
Hey, by the way, I'm available to actually do the nuptials. What state are you going to do it? I'll make sure I'm available. Georgia, Tennessee?
Are you even legally allowed in Biloxi, Mississippi after that incident in 97 at the Beau Rivage?
Oh, if you're doing it in Mississippi, then no, I can't.
Out.
Yeah, I am. I can't. I'm not allowed back at the casino. Yeah.
All right, Pate. Thank you very much. Always good talking to you, buddy.
See you guys.
All right, Josh Pate with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorney Hotline. Josh Pate CFB on social media. Josh Pate CFB.
Yeah, it's a crazy scene. What's happening in college athletics? Show being brought to you by our friends at Bojangles. Where if you want a little calm, you know what you're getting at Bojangles, Brown.
You can get those Bo Bites for lunch. They are fantastic at Bojangles. Hand-breaded chicken tender bites. Just don't call them nuggets. They are Bo Bites. It's an easy decision to make at lunch. The toughest part of that decision, though, is what am I going to dip those Bo Bites in? Well, I got some options for you. They got that house-made ranch. They got that sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles. Discover the dippable, shareable, craveable Bo Bites. It's Bo time.
Our man Ush sent me a text yesterday and said, 5-star review from my wife at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
Oh, that's big right there now.
I don't know exactly what treatment she got, but she said the experience was incredible. It really doesn't matter what you get. I mean, the staff, the facilities, it's going to blow you away. Located right there at the Summit Shopping Centers. You can let the girlfriend or wife choose from an option. Over 70 different options up there, including the massages, the body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa voted America's best day spa since 2009. You can order that special person gift online 24/7. Go to birmingham.woodhousespas.com or just stop in to the Woodhouse Day Spa right there at the Summit Shopping Centers. Tell Stuart, the great staff, the next round sent you.
Boy, I was thinking out west. I was thinking USC. Texas Tech, by the way, who's spending money for Nico, spending money on NIL, said we're not in. They sent word to the media, we're not in the Nico game. It's not us.
What a world.
Yeah.
And I want him to go to Georgia or Bama.
If he goes to USC, we talked about that. Had not even thought about Belichick in North Carolina.
What would you do if he went to Bama? Could you pull for him?
I could not. There
is no way.
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm not certain he finds the field. I mean, I don't know that Alabama has.
No, I mean, look, nobody. I don't think anybody would take a flyer on this guy unless it was, as Pate said, hey, you're backing this guy up. If you were going to take a flyer on him, you're going to take the PR hit. You're thinking this guy's good.
Yeah, and again, that's not an Alabama thing. I don't know that he would start at Auburn.
Yeah.
I don't know that he would start at Georgia.
Well,
if Lagway's healthy, I don't know that he'd start at Florida.
I don't think he'd start at either Alabama or Auburn. And after being at Auburn this weekend and seeing Deuce Knight, I don't think he would ever start.
And I say that somewhat because of Keelan Russell at Alabama, too.
Yeah, and I don't think he would. Yeah, exactly.
The whole Belichick thing, this would just seem so counter to everything this man believes in.
Belichick?
Yes.
Yeah, but it also would make it really easy to hate North Carolina. If you're not going to dislike
really
him.
good.
Yeah, if you're not going to dislike him anyway because you're an anti-Belichick guy, it'd make it a lot easier to be, here we go. This is Belichick, and now he's overpaid for this quarterback who went to the playoffs.
I mean, this guy's notoriously difficult to play for in the NFL. I mean, there were guys that could play for him. It was just a special cut of guy that played for this guy.
And he rarely did it through free agency. He did it through the draft.
Yeah. So, I mean, this would just seem so countercultural.
I could take that. I could take Ohio State. I'd love for him to go to Ohio State.
Oh, that's easy. I mean, I could dislike that.
Oh,
really
I'm sure.
Easy. Yeah. But they got Julian Sayin, who looked great in their spring game.
They don't even know if Sayin's going to be the guy, though.
14 of 20 in the spring game. When does that ever go wrong? 14 of 20. Here is the college football transfer portal. Nico Iamaleava there, and the crystal ball is projecting North Carolina. Is that 100% at 24/7?
They're projecting North Carolina?
At 100% is the crystal ball there. Has it happened, Forrester?
No, it has not happened, but I think that's only like with one projection, so that's why it's 100%.
Okay, I don't follow that enough, but that seems to be extreme. 100% seems like that's a lock. Like
I mean, 100% is a lot.
Well, that's only because one guy's saying it. One guy out of one.
Okay, so if I went in and crystal balled him somewhere else, it'd be 50% North Carolina?
Yeah. Why don't you crystal ball him to Jack State and see what happens?
Yeah.
Hey, it is going to be interesting if he doesn't have a market.
That would be fantastic.
Because as Pate said, somebody that he talked to said he's radioactive right now. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be like, I don't care if I piss somebody off. If he's this good of a quarterback,
somebody's going to overpay for him.
Hey,
it's just the world we live in now.
Show me the Ohio State National Championship rings, multiple rings. You always get them for winning bowl games and this and that. But that was part of the ceremony at the Ohio State spring game. And here's how they looked. Ryan Day got to do the unveil, and he opened the box and got the first look at them before the players got to look at them. And you have the national championship ring that the school does. You get the one that's the college football playoff. You get the bowl rings, which they won the cotton and a different one.
You don't get you don't get the Big Ten championship ring.
Look how that opens up on the inside.
That's the new thing. I mean, I don't know when that started.
If I would have gone back and I would have said, hey, in April 15th or right around it, he's either going to be getting a check from his buyout in the mailbox or he's going to be getting a national championship ring. What would you have gone with?
Are you going back to the game, the Michigan game, when they got in the fight after the game?
Oh, we could go to that.
I would have said check in the mailbox.
Yeah, that he wouldn't be sitting in that great wood office with basically joggers or capri pants on looking at 3 different championship rings. Good-looking rings, though, man. Good display case. That's where you probably keep that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't wear them.
That stuff probably means less and less to these players now.
Boy, where was I not long ago and somebody was wearing a massive championship ring?
It was Jay Wright on the desk of the CBS broadcast.
It was somewhere in person. Jay did have one on there, didn't he?
It was big.
Yeah, it was somewhere in person, and I saw somebody wearing what looked like a championship ring, and I wanted to ask them, but I didn't really want the probable conversation that was going to follow.
Well,
I felt like it was going to be a big time. Somebody was going to big time me.
That's when you send Jennifer over. Hey, go ask about that ring
that is.
Congratulations to Ryan Day and Ohio State and the celebration that they had this weekend. They are the national champions. All right, NASCAR bringing you. By the way, in NASCAR this weekend at the Food City 500, Kyle Larson tames the short track there. Will he be good when they get to the world's fastest speedway?
That one's good. He's good most anywhere, Kyle Larson, and he can win at Talladega like a lot of guys can. If you've never been to a race at the Talladega Super Speedway, you owe it to yourself to check it out. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Do not miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway. It is April 25th through 27th. You can get your tickets now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, and go enjoy the Jack Links 500 weekend, April 25 through 27 at Talladega Super Speedway.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway is ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to this track, you've got to come check it out. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway. It's April 25th through the 27th, and you can get your tickets right now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. That's TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
The 15th annual Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show presented by AmFirst is May 9th through the 11th on Logan Martin Lake in Pell City. The Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show is totally free to the public. Bama's biggest in-water boat show, 80 boats, lake lifestyle vendors, food trucks, beer garden, and live music all weekend long. There's fireworks on Friday night to honor veterans, a mermaid parade on Saturday, and free mimosas for Mama on Sunday. All by going to LoganMartinLakeFest.com, LoganMartinLakeFest.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, May 2nd through the 4th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, O'Ward, Dixon, and Newgarden will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness Miss America Abby Stockard give the most iconic command in all of racing as the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Our friends at Odie's, man, this may become my favorite weekend at Odie's. When you get a chance to swing by there Friday afternoon, they got the turf out, watch a little Masters with the bay doors and the windows open there.
They bring in the azaleas and everything.
Yeah,
Side on the ground.
It is an incredible tradition, but hey, Birmingham institution. It is Odie's Tavern, and whether it's the incredible food from our man Rodney Davis to the live music, Odie's team trivia every Wednesday. Me and Brown do that at the original location at Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. But get in and see Will Avery and that great staff. It's Odie's Tavern.
I'm going to say this up front. Okay, I was in Auburn for A-Day this past weekend. The weather was perfect. Chef kiss. The field looked great. Got to see the scoreboard. Got to see people shake hands, wave. A lot of nice comments about the show. Anything better than Cam Coleman eating an Uncrustable while he stretches on the beautiful turf there in front of 30,000, 25,000 fans.
Oh, were there that many there?
There were about 25,000 fans there.
For an open practice?
Yeah.
Or not even really a practice, was it?
Good weather, though. I guess that helped.
Yeah.
First couple of periods, I was talking to Jamie Hell of 3340 in the sidelines, and they're running drills with no helmets on.
You didn't even know it started, did you?
I looked at her. I literally said, because I was supposed to be covering it for us, and it's supposed to be shooting video. And I was like, hey, can I just ask, and this is a dumb question for a guy who's been in the business 30 years, but have we started yet? I mean, have we started yet? They're playing music on the PA system. Nobody's mic'd up. There's no announcements going on or anything. And then they go into skeleton drill, basically against air, running some stuff. And then about an hour into it, the first real thudding of pads or anything is 3-on-3s. 3-on-3s. Eventually you got some starters out there that did some things.
Now, when you say 3-on-3s, not 3 players on 3 players.
No.
Third teamers on third teamers.
Third stringers on third stringers. And it was a bunch of nothing, and I'm told it was equal or better than what was going on in Tuscaloosa as well. was this the death of the A-Day?
Yeah, it was.
Because I think Alabama had about 15,000 fans at theirs.
Yeah, I don't think I could have ever predicted this, that we get to this point where, hey, look, there's just no more spring games, but I think we're there.
Well, don't you think?
I mean, and I'm just talking about the concept, whatever it looks like. I just don't think you're going to get a lot of fanfare for it.
I think Alabama and Auburn scheduled theirs already, and they've got some, marketing that goes around it. There's sponsorships and things like that. Before teams started saying, hey, we're not doing one. So they're like, we already got our schedule.
Yeah, we spent that money.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that one. I'm with Lance. I think Hugh Freeze and Kalen DeBoer don't want to do it to begin with.
And listen, I don't think it's the whole, we're going to see some players and somebody's going to watch the players and they're going to go after them in the portal. I don't think it's that, because other coaching staffs they already know who's on your roster. They know who's good, and they're going to try to get them anyway. I think ESPN showed us that nobody cares about this anymore because there were no games on ESPN and the SEC network and the Big Ten network and all of that. There are very few of these make it. It used to be covered up on this weekend.
Even actual spring games were extremely boring to me. I never watched those on ESPN. I know a lot of fans went. And there's going to, of course, be, I can't believe we've allowed football to come to this. There's going to be that. A lot of people are going to complain about this.
But it was unwatchable, I thought.
I found it very boring, but I'm not your target fan either, right? I mean, there are other things. I can't believe Auburn used to always do theirs on the Saturday of the Masters, and I'm like, there is zero decision to be made there for me. Is Saturday of the Masters is always going to supersede a spring football game. But even if the Masters is no, this has been my problem with actual spring football like UFL. First of all, they're not scoring enough points for me. I think Birmingham won a 10-9 game Friday night, if I'm not mistaken.
Late touchdown to win it.
Matt Corral late in the end zone.
We joked about it on the show the other day. I was with Furman. I was like, the over-under is 35.5 and hammer the under. That's not exciting football. And it was 10-9. I mean, it's an exciting ending, but still. I understand what you're saying. Listen, the time of packing it out with 92,000.
Yeah.
Or Venables' first year at Oklahoma, they sold out 80,000.
Yeah. That was all, let's go support our coach. That really had very little to do with I want to see the game. That was more, let's put on a good face. For Venables, I think it was like, this is,
we don't want Riley screwed us. Let's show it. We're behind this guy.
Show our support. And then for Auburn, they did it for Chizik after Alabama had done it for Saban, and it was like, well, if Alabama's going to do it for Saban, let's do that for our guy.
Yeah. I would tell you that here's my problem in Tuscaloosa. Emily Grace McWhorter was there for us, and she's there getting because the players and coaches not even available for sound on Saturday for Alabama. Today's the day they talk about spring with just the coaches and coordinators. Players not even available, which made no sense. But there's a reason behind everything.
It was a practice. It wasn't a game.
Reason behind everything. Yeah. So we'll find out what that reason is eventually. But what do you do with the ceremony at Denny Chimes?
I've got your answer there. I was thinking about this a moment ago.
Because if you don't have this A-Day, it's such a tradition. And I watch our boy Tyler Booker, who it's his birthday, and he's putting his handprint in and his cleat print right here. And
that's not going away. No, I'm ready to hear your idea,
but
Brad.
Who's going to show up if there's no game around?
If you'll listen to my idea, I'll tell you.
Okay.
You do, because did they not do autographs after the game?
They did.
All right. Well, you just set that up on the quad. This is Fan Day, Alabama Fan Day. It's a chance for you and your kids to come get photos with Ryan Williams, autographs with Ryan Williams and Kalen DeBoer and Ty Simpson and Tyler Booker. And you just set up Fan Day, and they come to the quad and they get their autographs and they watch these guys do this. And you don't have a game, but you still get all that done. I think you would get enough people to turn out for that, don't you? People drive to Tuscaloosa to get a photo with a player. They already do it.
Well, if you just want to know Ryan Williams' status, I'm not going to project that it was 3 times longer, the line to get an autograph from Ryan Williams and Kalen DeBoer's.
Yeah.
But if I was guessing, I'm going to say 3 times. Look at that line.
Yeah. Well,
that's to get Ryan Williams.
And you don't
autograph.
think they'll show up to the quad to get that interview?
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, they will. So.
Here's my idea.
Okay.
I would do it on off week for that NFL player home game. If the home game coincides.
So you don't do them all at once. Like Tyler Booker is drafted, say, by the Dolphins.
Yeah.
The Dolphins have week 8
it's
off.
Almost like retiring the jersey.
Yeah.
It'd be halftime. Hey, don't forget Western Kentucky this weekend. Tyler Booker's back in town. We're going to do his cleat and handprint ceremony at halftime.
Well,
and we'll
you tell you what you could do is you could just bring the concrete slab out there and do it on the field.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you're
at
saying that, and
yeah.
then go over there and just dig
the
hole and put it in the ground at Denny Chimes.
Yeah, that happens post-mortem. Yep.
Nobody's dying, Jeff.
Yeah.
But it could be years after. You may not have a home game that coincides.
It could be years after.
Yeah. But generally, the home opener, if you're at home, that's a bye. That the NFL has not started then, and guys could come for that.
Yeah. Anyway. Sadness there.
I'm not really sad about it. I mean, I know some fans are.
Well, it just always was a great time to tailgate, get together, and some fans were still doing that this weekend. And maybe something will happen; they'll change it back. Maybe they'll play games or something next year, and it'll all get better again. But it was a time to get out the tailgating kit, see some old friends that you park your RV next to. Speaking of RVs, our friends at Johnston RV getting you into the football mode right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go see the spring games while they last at Johnston RV Center. An RV from Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman. 334 in Decatur, always online at johnstonrvcenter.com. They got price ranges for everyone, starting as low as $129 a month. You can get the pull-behinds, the toy haulers, the big motor homes, fifth wheels. RV warranty forever. Make sure you got a lifetime warranty on everything that is new and qualifying pre-owned at Johnston RV. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online, johnstonrvcenter.com.
And I've talked about it. One of the best decisions I made back in the old radio days was going to see my friend Dr. Mark Michelson, true pioneer in the LASIK space. This is a guy that performed the LASIK procedure, the first ever in 1995 right here in the state of Alabama. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy Toe. The next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with that hassle-free consultation. $0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Okay, on the field, let's go Tuscaloosa first, cut 11. Jeremy Bernard, before the A-Day game this past weekend, had this to say about Alabama's quarterback situation and how the quarterbacks have grown during this spring.
I think it's just the consistency with the play calling and understanding the new system and bringing that every day to the field and trying to lead as one of the number one QBs. So I just like the consistency I see out of each and every one of them and the growth that they come into each and every practice. They have a growth mindset and it shows in practice.
Anytime you praise someone's replacement, it's always going to be viewed as a criticism of the person he replaced. Unless that person is just exceptionally amazing, right? Like whoever replaced Tom Brady, I can't even remember who replaced him. And
Mac Jones.
It
right.
was. Mac Jones. Whenever Belichick might have praised Mac Jones, nobody was like, well, thank God Tom Brady didn't do that well. We knew Tom Brady did everything well, but Jalen Milroe got a lot of criticism. So when you hear a receiver talk about consistency and play calling, isn't your first thought like, so is that new?
Yeah.
Like, is that something you did not have last year, consistency and play calling? Is this something that is it a product of Ryan Grubb? Is it a product of new quarterbacks? Is it a product of both? Did you have it last year too? It just that always feels like you're intentionally or not taking a shot at the guy that the quarterback replaced.
The portal opens on Wednesday officially. If I asked you over under 0.5, half of an Alabama quarterback, why would you want half of an Alabama quarterback in the portal? But over under half of an Alabama quarterback in the portal of these three guys, either Ty Simpson, Austin Mack, or Keelan.
I'm going to go under.
Yeah, I'd take under as well.
I'll say under too.
Well, you look at it. Simpson's waited his time. He looks like he's probably going to be the starter. Russell just got there. Russell came there knowing Simpson was the guy that waited his time. This is nothing new to him. And if you're Mack,
I still think Mack believes he can be starting this fall.
Yeah.
So unless one of these guys was told, Mack or Simpson, that you're not going to be QB1, if that conversation is one of the reasons this conversation won't be had with a lot of coaches with their quarterbacks, if that conversation was had, I could see one bolt.
Yeah.
I probably would, but I don't think that will take place.
And if you're Mack, you just now got the coordinator that actually probably made you want to come here.
Right.
And that's no knock on Nick Sheridan. I'm just saying he was probably making that decision thinking that Ryan Grubb was going to be that coordinator, which a lot of people thought that until the Seattle opportunity arose.
By the way, as a guy who worries about everything, I'm worried about the portal. for football to see what happens.
For Alabama?
For Alabama, yeah. The portal opens back up. I want to see, is anybody leaving? Anybody that I care about leaving?
It would be hard to believe somebody you care about is leaving, or they would have left in January, you would think.
You would think. But it's a new world, Brownie.
Yeah.
I just saw the Tennessee starting quarterback playoff guy leave on Friday in April. Hugh Freeze doesn't have a lot of quarterbacks, and Jackson Arnold did not participate on the Saturday event I was at. Had a hamstring, nothing serious, precautionary, said Hugh Freeze afterwards. But he worked all spring basically with two scholarship guys, Jackson Arnold and Deuce Knight, and he was asked afterwards by some great media person, as you see Jackson hobbling around out on the field there. He was asked, what was it like having only two guys? Was there something that was a silver lining, only having two guys to work through the reps?
I think that's been a blessing. I really, working with just two, with Kent, Jesse, and myself, I thought was really nice. Their arms were probably a little tired because they got most of the throws for sure, but I think it was needed for both of them. I feel like we're way ahead of the game, of them understanding our system and what we want to do. Both have high football IQs. Both are hungry to come in and study. And so them getting the majority of the reps, we have a lot of things we can teach from. And they got to see it firsthand because, again, you weren't splitting a number of reps. I thought it was very beneficial to us.
He's just a positive guy, Hugh Freeze is. He always seems to, especially this time of year, talk up the positives. It's hard for me to believe what he's saying about the quarterbacks right now because I felt like this time last year I was hearing such great things about Peyton Thorne. You know what I mean? Like he had me convinced Peyton Thorne was going to take
He's finishing my. We always go back to the line.
Little boy cry wolf. Yeah. I'm not going to believe Hugh Freeze moving forward.
And I cannot remember if he said this line, the show we did from the Auburn Football Complex with Coach Freeze, or in Dallas, but the line of he's finishing my sentences, talking about Peyton Thorne.
Yeah.
It was on one of those two interviews.
So we have heard that Russell could make enough noise that he truly could be in the mix. I mean, do you think Deuce is in the mix with Jackson Arnold?
I do not think so. I think Jackson Arnold is poised to have a great season, good season.
Did he look the part to you when you stood next to him?
Deuce?
No, Jackson Arnold.
Jackson didn't do anything.
But did he? But I'm just.
But did you get to see him?
I did, and smaller than I expected.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought Lance was asking you there.
Yeah, is that what? Yeah. Okay. He didn't have pads on.
I was going to say, does he look the part? I mean, not that Peyton ever did.
No, but Peyton looked.
And when we
how
saw,
can I say this, manlier?
I know,
he looked bigger.
But we saw Bryce Young. We could have put Bryce in somebody's pocket.
Yeah.
At SEC Media Day.
Flip side of that, it was my first time to be. Now he had pads on when I saw Deuce. That guy's cut up. That guy's a specimen.
So you're a Deuce Knight believer.
Left-handed, whips it around, and not afraid to throw interceptions and drills.
That's not great in drills.
Well, I mean, he's. I mean, am I going to throw it away in a drill? You know what I mean? People were going crazy about how many interceptions he threw in front of the crowd the other day.
Well, how many was it?
Probably 4, 5.
Yikes!
One of them was tipped. I'm just saying that in a drill, you don't throw it away, like when it's against air, basically. I mean, it was just basically DBs and wide receivers. I'm going to throw it. I'm not going to plant it into the seats or throw it in the ground or take a knee or come back, let's run it again. You didn't beat him. I'm going to take a chance and throw it. People were like, hey, what do you think of the interceptions? I was like, it's a drill. I mean, again, are we going to just end the drill because he didn't beat him? I'm going to throw the ball.
Yeah.
I think it's different in the game. He makes different decisions in games. I didn't worry about that. He looked good to me. All right, we'll do 4 downs in our next segment. One more thing to get to in this segment after I remind you our friends at New Life. New Life Art, Daniel A. Moore. Football season not far away as we sit here 131 days away from week 0. We're already talking about our coverage coming up from Atlanta and SEC Media Days in July. You can relive great moments like 6 national championships in Tuscaloosa. Is that the whole program, Jim? No, that's one coach. 6 national championships from the legend, Nick Saban. You get the legend. DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR, and get that great piece of artwork right there to hang in your sports room forever, or any of the other great works. Check them out online at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR. Okay, we were talking quarterbacks. DJ Lagway, Billy Napier says, on schedule, expects to be throwing in a couple of weeks. When the OTAs happen in June, we expect him to be 100%. That's Billy Napier after their spring game, which, by the way, drew about 60,000 fans. I think I saw I know Taylor Korn, social media director, was upset about this. I saw her TikTok. I think was it you also that was upset that they were doing the basketball thing at halftime?
Not at all. Didn't even know it.
Somebody else was upset they were doing the basketball thing at halftime.
I did a video for Taylor. My point was, and I don't know if it went out or not.
No, it must have been you. I saw that.
Yeah. Scott Strickland is laying a message down to me. Hey, look, we're going to celebrate at your blue-orange game. In year 3, Todd Golden wins a national championship. In year 3, you're 10-14 in the SEC. Coming to Florida and being a head coach here is all about winning championships. So I'm going to let you watch the basketball team celebrate in front of our fans. And when to me, that's kind of poking at Billy Napier. Would you not give me that to bring it into football territory?
And to me, part of the reason there were 60,000 fans there were to celebrate the basketball at halftime, I think.
Maybe so, but I think there was something to telling Billy Napier, this is how we do it. We're going to do it on your dime. We're going to celebrate this team's championship, and we want to let you know this is what we expect from you.
But the flip side of that, though, like they know if we do it to start basketball season, the main reason we're hanging this banner is not going to be there in Walter Clayton Jr. He's going to be in the NBA. And then how many of these guys are going to hit the portal and not be there? You don't know the answer to that. So I can also see why you do it now while you got the whole team together, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, you could just do a parade in downtown.
No, you could do that too.
Gainesville.
Yeah.
I'm saying, to me, to bring it to the football program in their day, like Steve Spurrier would not have allowed this back in the day.
No.
I just don't think he would. I don't think Urban Meyer would have allowed this. Billy Napier's got no say at all.
Yeah. You're right. It's the flip version of when Alabama, to get a sellout crowd in basketball, would do the ODK trophy at halftime. Right?
I mean, to me, whether it was a novelty to get crowd in or more so a message about where we expect to be with this football program. That's what it was to me. Maybe I'm completely reading this thing wrong.
Yeah. It's good to have a 7'9" guy to hold up the sign, too.
Well, that does help, yes. I mean, he did not contribute a whole lot to the sign.
Yeah, he didn't
But he held the sign up.
Well, will you hold the sign up for us so we can all point to it? You can hang the banner by yourself.
But you got to remember this. Like, for the first time, Todd Golden is the big man on campus. Even when Billy Donovan was winning back-to-back championships, Urban Meyer was winning championships.
Right. Yep.
So this is the first time that I can remember, and you guys help me out, where the basketball is a much bigger deal than the football coach.
At Florida?
At Florida.
Yes, because it was Billy Donovan and Urban Meyer at the same time.
And even when Lon Kruger had that random Final Four, Spurrier was there.
That's right.
So, yeah.
That's right. I would agree. Mario Cristobal, by the way, says Carson Beck now cleared to throw after his elbow surgery. The elbow he hurt in the Hail Mary pass right before halftime of the SEC championship game. So he is cleared to throw and should be good to go by fall camp with Miami.
Would you guys have thought that was his last attempt ever in a Georgia Bulldog uniform?
Would not have, no.
Not when it happened.
That's, again, man, you got to live in the moment, right?
By the way, he is getting $4 million to play at Miami, the money Nico wanted to play at Tennessee.
Well, I mean, Beck's a better quarterback.
But is his girl making more than he is?
Oh,
yes. That's a
not even close.
They're still together, right? You tell me.
Yeah, I saw him on TikTok post the.
I'll play his long-term potential, earning potential,
over hers.
A lot higher of a ceiling.
I would agree with you. Higher ceiling. I'm not going to guarantee he makes more, but it is a higher ceiling.
So that's college football news there. One more. I'll tell you this. I'll save it to the other side. It's interesting television stuff coming up on the other side. And also 4 downs, and we'll get back into the Nico thing. Mario Cristobal, Brian Kelly, and others had thoughts about the Nico. They got asked about it, the Nico situation. It'll be interesting to see if Kalen DeBoer today, Emily Grace is there as we speak, see if he gets asked about what went on with Nico Iamaleava, or Iamaleava, however you want to say it, from Tennessee. Show being brought to you by NASCAR Branding that gets us to the top of the hour.
TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. That's the website to go to reserve your spot at the Jack Links 500 weekend. It is coming up April 24th through 27th at Talladega Superspeedway. You can go see the fastest cars in NASCAR. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every single turn. Do not miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. That's TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR is Talladega Superspeedway, and it's ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to the Talladega Superspeedway, you have to check it out. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every single turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Don't miss the action. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Heupel Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Heupel are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Heupel Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Heupel Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show.
brought to you by our great friends at Champies. You had a chance to see Sterling, didn't you?
How did you know? Did I tell you that?
You did.
Oh, yeah, I was in there Saturday. Yeah, I do remember telling you now.
Jim knows when somebody's getting big breasts.
Yeah. I mean,
got a sense for it.
I try to stay on top of it all, Tyler.
Yes.
I thought I'd be the first one that would forget simple things, conversations on the show.
I've done that for years. My daughter had a soccer game down at the home of Jim Dunaway, not Freedom Park. What's
Veterans.
it called? Veterans Park.
You told me that too.
Look, Lance. Veterans Park, right near Smoky Road, where you grew up. I saw it on my GPS. It said Smoky Road, and I told Jennifer, I was like, "Oh, that's where Dunaway was born."
Do you still? Could you find out? Like, do you know exactly where your trailer was back in the day?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Is there anything there?
I think it's a house now.
How close was I? I was obviously right there on 119.
You were probably a mile.
From your locale.
Yeah. Where Mom and Dad still live up the road from there at my grandmother's house.
So my youngest daughter had a soccer game Saturday morning, and it ended right about 11:15. So we hit Champies on the way home.
So good.
And it was fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah. What'd you get?
I got the tamales and the baked beans, and Jennifer got the chicken finger basket, which came with 4, so I ate one of those.
Yeah, because those things are massive.
They are massive. Their chicken fingers are so good.
You go honey mustard or barbecue sauce?
I just ate it. You know what I did? I had eaten that tamale plate, so I just cut them up, and I sopped up that tamale sauce with them.
Oh,
fantastic.
So whatever you want at Champies Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster, champieschicken.com. Go by and see Sterling and have all the great food that he has for you there. Brined overnight cooked to order. All right. Let's do our 4 downs, and we'll get back into everything that is going on. But I want to tell you before we do that, Notre Dame and Boise State, they're going to play each other on October the 4th. Pull up Notre Dame's schedule.
We've talked about it. The Notre Dame's schedule, had they played this year's schedule last year, it would have been a pretty interesting schedule. I don't know how interesting it is going to be this year, but if the 2025 schedule had been played in 2024, I don't know that Notre Dame's in the playoffs.
Yeah, all I'm saying is they didn't have a lot of marquee games last year in my book.
No, they don't this year either.
They don't this year?
No.
And that's my point, Brandon. Boise State, not a bad team, pretty good game. Boise State, Notre Dame. They announced it is exclusively Peacock only. You got to stream it, Peacock only. It's not that big a deal anymore unless you don't have Peacock.
They do that once a year. Yeah, that's part of NBC's deal with them, is a Peacock only game.
And it's the Boise State. How does that rank of important games for them at home?
At home?
Yeah, because
they host Texas A&M. That's bigger.
Yeah.
They host Purdue. I think Boise's bigger. I don't know. I don't know what not Barry Odom. Who took that?
Barry Odom?
Yeah, it was Barry Odom. Took that Purdue job.
Well, I'm just saying that's the ones that could be streamed on Peacock.
They host NC State. They host USC. No way you're going to put that on Peacock.
No.
They host Navy. That probably gets you a good enough TV number. And they host the Cuse.
Yeah. So Boise State's in the mix there. It's their third biggest game. Texas A&M's at home.
But listen to the schedule.
There's the schedule.
There's the schedule. If you had this schedule in 2024, tell me if Notre Dame makes the playoffs. At Miami.
They probably lose that game.
Host A&M. They won that game in College Station. So
should have lost it, but okay.
Host Purdue. They beat Purdue by $1 billion. At Arkansas.
That's a tough game.
I
think they win, but
Tennessee went there and lost. Yeah. Hosting Boise State, I'm not willing to give them that win.
I think they win it, but I don't feel great about it. I think they've definitely got a loss coming out of September.
Host NC State. They win that game. I don't think NC State was all that good. Host USC.
They should have lost that game last year.
Yep.
2 pick sixes in the fourth quarter.
Yep, but they won the game at the Coliseum. At BC, by that time of the year, BC had lost Castellanos, right?
Yep.
Host Navy. At Pitt would have been a really, really difficult game for them. And then hosting Syracuse. At the end of the year, Syracuse beat Miami, costing them a playoff spot.
Yep.
They would have beat Stanford by $1 million no matter where they played.
Yeah, I still think they get in.
Probably so.
You think they do this year?
I don't know if they get in this year. I'm just saying that schedule last year they would have gotten in. I think they're 11-1, maybe 10-2.
Yeah.
Do I think they get in this year? Let me ask you this: if I gave LSU that schedule, does LSU get in?
Yes,
I think so too.
Yeah.
So I think Notre Dame gets in. Because I think they're going to get the benefit of the doubt now. Like what Freeman was able to do by getting them and playing for a national championship. Like if they would have got run in the first round, I think that could have hovered and stayed with them for years. Committee members saying, hey, look, we've seen Notre Dame now, 3 times in a playoff situation. They haven't competed. But now that they not only got there but had a lot of success, I think they'll get the benefit of the doubt with a couple of losses on the schedule.
Yeah, and their recruiting continues to do well. They're good in the portal. Interesting with Notre Dame, October 4th is a streaming-only game. Back to Nico, the reaction to that, all that coming up after we do 4 Downs, which is brought to you by our friends at Bojangles.
That's right. You no longer have to choose between sweet and savory when it comes to breakfast. You can get this brand new breakfast for a limited time at Bojangles, the chicken and bowberry waffles. Cajun chicken filet drizzled with a bowberry glaze and sandwiched between warm waffles, available for a limited time. It's Bow time.
First down.
But to jump around a little bit here, Pete Rose would have been 84 today. Ultimately, who had the better career, Pete Rose or Pete Sampras?
When Pete Sampras retired, he was the best male tennis player, maybe the best tennis player of all time. Federer has since
definitely
passed him.
The best American of all time, right?
Yeah.
Was he not the best of all time? Certainly the best American. I give you that.
I don't know about that. I don't think
when he retired, he wasn't.
No, I don't
was?
think so.
I think he was.
At that time, it would have been Federer still.
No.
Was that before?
He predated Federer.
Yeah. Not. Yeah. Federer eventually passed him for sure.
Yeah. And I think you get into the conversation, Jokic and Nadal passing him.
Yeah, Nadal was so heavy on the French.
Yeah.
But those all count as majors, obviously, or Grand Slam.
But, I mean, Pete Rose wasn't the greatest baseball player of all time. He's the hit king.
That was going to be my point.
Most controversial baseball player of all time.
But there was a time Sampras, I think, was the best male tennis player of all time.
Yeah.
So I would go Pete Sampras.
I'm going to go Pete Rose. I just think Rose, multi-year all-star, multifaceted, multi-championship.
Played every position on the field.
Yeah, did it all. And
I would go Rose, too.
Sampras at top of his game at one point, but Rose did it in the 60s, the 70s, and into the mid-80s. I'm gonna go Rose.
I think 14 majors for Sampras. That's
my gosh.
Huge.
That's 14?
Right. I think that's what they said in the chat room. That's what I was thinking.
That's right. But it's been passed.
And he was married to the girl that was the father of the bride, right?
Jennifer, not
Kimberly
Jennifer,
Williams.
Kimberly Williams.
Yeah.
Williams.
I think it's Kimberly Williams.
Yeah. She was cute, man. I liked her.
Yeah, she had that girl next door good looks.
Yeah. But Sampras did not win the career Grand Slam. Is that right?
Didn't win
He never won the French because of Nadal.
Yeah.
Nadal won them all.
Yeah.
So that is a tricky argument if he did not win the career
Very
Grand Slam.
close. That's a great question. But I'm gonna go Pete Rose.
Second down.
Oh, okay. Moving forward, more majors for Rory or national championships for Kirby Smart?
There was one of those we did after a Scheffler Masters, and I think I remember maybe even winning a stake on him not winning another major that year because he looked so automatic, and he's finished second a couple of times.
These golfers are misleading because when they're in a zone, you're like, damn, there's no way that guy could not win another tournament.
Like how many did you think Jordan Spieth would have by now?
So I remember saying it on Jocks, double digit.
Yeah.
I mean,
so Roy went roughly 40, 45 majors without winning another one?
Yeah. I don't know if you remember this, and I'll maybe get some of these facts wrong. This is when the PGA was still the last major, Jim. But Spieth won the Masters and then won the U.S. and was in the hunt Sunday at the British. And I'm like, when is this guy going to lose majors? I mean, he almost was one leg away from the Grand Slam already. This guy will win double-digit majors, and he eventually lost his game for a little bit. He's fighting back now.
Yeah. I don't know if Kirby wins another one.
I'll take Rory.
I'll take Rory, too.
He's got another good decade of golf.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to unlock him.
And no pressure now.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that pressure is off his back now. And
not only winning the last leg of the Grand Slam, but finally winning another major.
Yeah, finally erasing all those bad memories at Augusta.
You know who I am? I'm Colin Cowherd after Gus Malzahn made it to the national championship game in 2013.
Over for Saban.
Oh, it's over for Saban.
Yeah.
I don't know if Kirby wins another.
Third down.
I don't disagree with you. I mean,
you think Gunnar Stockton's going to win one?
They're raving about him. Just feels different all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson would have been 272 years old today.
I just saw his memorial a couple of weeks ago.
Really? Oh, yeah.
Up in D.C. That's one of my favorite ones, actually. I like the Jefferson Memorial.
So TJ or Taylor Swift, ultimately better career?
Oh, it's going to be Thomas Jefferson. Yeah.
You guys laugh
Taylor
it up.
Swift probably could form a country at this point of her fans.
But could she form a country with the most perfect government we've ever seen, which was part of Thomas Jefferson's brainchild?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Well, I was sitting next to random dude, struck up conversation Saturday night at dinner. He's a guy from Memphis, and he was talking about he was older, and he was talking about how big, obviously, the Elvis death was. And I was like, the only person that could recreate that would be like a Taylor Swift, where, in your prime, because Elvis at that point was like 42 years old. So I do think we do sleep maybe on the cultural impact she's got. I mean, it does sound laughable on the surface, but yeah. I mean, she's going to be a billionaire, twice over. She's going to have, I don't know, probably at one point maybe the most sold records of all time.
Probably because her fans buy multiple copies of every album because she does like the limited releases. Like this vinyl will be green and this one will be blue. And also,
I did not know she does that.
Yep. And her fans will also buy multiple copies just to push her sales to the top of the charts.
Thomas Jefferson died 200 years ago, and we're still talking about him.
Right.
In 200 years, Taylor Swift will be an afterthought. She'll rarely come up.
For those that don't know.
I don't know. We talk about Beethoven a lot.
Primary author of the Declaration of Independence.
I cannot remember the last time I've talked about Beethoven. I would say a lot.
And not at the dinner party recently?
Yes, and you're
that
correct.
Beethoven guy.
Yeah, that Beethoven fella, he can write.
So primary author means that he was in a room and he came out and he goes, okay, I've got this. And then other people started contributing, and then they started brainstorming, but they basically went with his piece of work, the Declaration of Independence.
He probably had the money.
And then manipulated it.
Yeah, and it was probably somebody else's great idea, and he's like, you know what, I got the power here, I'm going to take credit for it.
If you look at it, John Adams was one of the big pushes behind it. They like the way Jefferson wrote. If you read it, I mean, he writes there's a style of writing he had. Not that Jefferson wasn't instrumental in it, but
he forms a more perfect phrase.
Yeah, I mean, I think they liked his style of writing, and this needed to be a document with impact, right? You're sending it to the King of England saying, I know you all think you own us, you do not. We are done with that, and if you want to come fight us, we'll be right here, and that's exactly what happened.
He was the big advocate for individual rights, freedom of thought and speech and religion.
Yeah. I will say,
so I'm gonna go
Thomas Jefferson,
TJ over TS.
Yeah.
But it's close.
Yeah, I think it is closer than we think.
Well, that's a great question.
Yeah, what would you get?
I
could just get freedom.
On our little
freedom. Be an American flag.
On our snorkel, this is so funny. On our snorkel boat in Hawaii, I walked up next to this girl, and she's sitting there with her daughter, and she's got a tattoo that says, "And wherever there's an important decision, a woman needs to be in that room." And it was like the what's the Ginsburg?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Yeah. And it had her face and then her signature tattooed on her arm.
Oh, wow.
And the thing I noticed the most about this, her husband didn't say a word the whole time. He was just sitting there with his arm crossed, and I was like, I think this guy probably wants to get eaten by a shark today.
That is dedication to a Supreme Court justice. I'm getting a
hi, my name is Chum. Throw me in.
Face tattoo.
So is a tattoo of a politician a red flag for you guys?
Yes, very much.
I feel like that's got to be 100%.
Regardless of party.
It seemed like she just wanted to argue.
Yeah.
Like I just kept walking, but I was like, man, that is quite the statement having that one.
I make no party designations on that one. Regardless of party, a politician tattoo is that's a non-starter for me. Yes.
Bad move.
4th down.
Now, they would say Supreme Court justice should not be viewed as a politician, to be fair.
Yeah,
there.
but they are.
Yeah, we moved past that.
This date in 1910, William Howard Taft did what?
Got stuck in a bathtub.
Yep.
Nope.
Oh. I was going same place.
That's what he's most known for, right?
Dunaway, William Howard Taft did what? The first time this has ever been done in 1910.
He issued tariffs.
He threw out the first ever ceremonial first pitch.
Right, yep.
If I asked you guys, if you owned a team right now and you could have anyone in the world throw out your first pitch, who would it be? If you're trying to create the ultimate buzz.
Oh, I'd sell any venue out with Taylor Swift throwing out the first pitch.
Yep, hard not to go Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift better armed than Thomas Jefferson, I hear, too, by the way.
She's got a good splitter.
You think T Swift would be the way to go?
Yeah, I mean, Dunaway's right. You'd sell out the venue easily.
Yeah, people would come just to see the first pitch.
Yep.
Let me ask you this. If you had Vladimir Putin at a Dodgers game, you think people would go?
That's going to be a hard pass for me on that one, but I think I go T Swizzle, yeah.
Yeah, I'd go Swift. That's Four Downs, brought to you by our friends at Bojangles Brownie.
It is a great idea at breakfast. You don't have to choose between sweet and savory. You get them both right there at Bojangles for a limited time only. It is bow time.
Back to the Nico reaction after LT tells us about our friends at Heupel. Most people running hot over this story.
205-229-2090. Make sure that the unit is ready to keep up your HVAC unit with this changing weather. Right now, $1,000 off all new HVAC plus 0% financing. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, our friends at Heupel Services. Get the details there. Whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, 205-229-2090 or HempelServices.com.
Listen, we started the show with it. We started the second hour with an interview about Josh Pate, or with Josh Pate about it, but Nico Iamaleava leaving Tennessee. Tennessee moving on from him. We'll see where Nico lands. Right now, 24/7 projecting him to North Carolina and Bill Belichick. There's a lot of talk about USC. Here's Mario Cristobal, head coach at Miami, who has gone Cam Ward from Washington State, and now for $4 million, the asking price of Nico, Carson Beck from Georgia. What does Mario Cristobal think of guys who want to hold out for more money?
We're not going to do that at Miami, and I say that without any hesitation. You know, if anyone's thinking that, and they could be the best player in the world, if they want to play holdout, they might as well play get out. We don't want to do that. We don't want Miami to become that. Too many guys have sweated, bled, have laid on the line on that field to ever become that kind of a program.
So he says, we're not going to have if a player wants to hold out, he can hit the pavement.
Might as well play get out, because we're not going to do that at Miami. Meanwhile, Brian Kelly, who's in the SEC, gets asked about.
By the way, if Cam Ward came back, do you think he'd be saying the same thing?
I was about to say.
Hey, I need cut 5 here real quick. Cut 5. This is Brian Kelly on Nico's situation, whether or not Brian Kelly thinks this is going to happen to other programs or not.
Well, I think we're in this period of adjustment, right? I mean, I think, you know, we've got a settlement that is in the being decided. The House settlement is coming close. That will, you know, bring us most likely some form of revenue sharing. I think there's changes coming in NIL. I think this is the first version of corrections, maybe. And you know, I think that we're going to see a lot of this. You know, this was a new world, and I think we're going to navigate it the best that we can. But I think that there's going to be other situations that come, and we're just going to have to, you know, do the best we can. I think there's going to be better information out there that will allow people to look at comps for positions and say, that makes sense, that doesn't make sense. And it'll allow us to navigate this a lot more reasonably moving forward, for good or bad.
There's a guy who did not want to paint himself into a corner, Brian Kelly. There.
Yeah, this is really, the verbiage is tricky now. I mean, you even heard Heupel. Like, Heupel probably wants to scorch earth, but at the same time, you can't, because all these guys want money.
He thanked him. He thanked him.
Yeah, I mean, you really do have to walk on eggshells when it comes to this topic.
Which gets me to Dan Lanning, who's being painted as a guy who turned in the Nico camp to Josh Heupel. Like, hey, just heads up, Josh. I'm getting phone calls from Nico's representatives. That's the buzz out there. No confirmation. I think he said no comment when he was asked about it. He wouldn't comment.
He was asking. I think they had their spring game. No comment.
He gave no comment. But even in that situation, you got to be careful, because if you're Dan Lanning, all of a sudden there could be agents out there who's like, well, don't go call Dan.
Right.
Dan's going to let everybody know you're shopping.
Yeah, I do think Pate had an interesting take on the way Nico's representation should handle this. I mean, they really should fall on the sword.
100%.
This is all us.
The agent, you're getting paid big money from this, or the dad, somebody should get out and say, listen, Nico, we made these decisions without Nico.
Well, and you're not going to get your client signed to the highest deal he could get based on the fact that if people really think he's radioactive, unless you do some damage control for him, you're not going to have a lot of buyers. I mean, what's going to drive the market up is if you've got a lot of guys that want Nico.
Yeah, again, it's what a lot of people say they don't want in college sports. I make the point that I don't think you want this either, and it would clean it up if you sign a contract coming out of high school.
Well, Nico did.
No. You got to let me finish. You sign a contract coming out of high school as an employee that is a binding contract, and there is compensation for the school if you leave. That's going to clean a lot of this up, and I know a lot of people don't want us to go that way because now we're talking about player unions, collective bargaining, and things like that, and I get it. You get that in the NFL. You didn't really want it in college, but you don't want this either. And if you're under a binding contract and you agree in that contract, you're Nico, and you agree in that contract that if I leave Tennessee, the value is $6 million, let's say. If I leave Tennessee after, how many years? He's been there 2 years, right? Years. If I leave Tennessee after 2 years, the buyout is $6 million. Now I've got to go find somebody not only to pay me what I want in an NIL deal, but also the $6 million penalty for me to leave.
You wouldn't see people doing that right now.
Good luck.
We might get to that point eventually, but right now I think that would scare everybody to death.
Okay, back to cut 3 if you can for me, Tyler. Josh Heupel, the Tennessee head coach. They've got to play football season. We talked about who's on their roster, who's coming in 2026. So the portal opens Wednesday. Josh Heupel gets asked if they're looking for the starting quarterback in the portal now.
Josh, you only got 2 scholarship quarterbacks, obviously. If you look in the portal, are you looking for a starter? Are you looking for somebody to compete with Merck? What are you looking for?
Well, we're having open tryouts right after this. Hub's already hit me about his ability to throw the ball, so nah. Anytime your roster has the opportunity to change, that's in December, that's in the spring, right? As we go through the process, you're always evaluating what you have on your roster, where you're, I'm going to say vulnerable, where numbers might not be right, injuries, whatever, and you're trying to get your roster where it needs to be to give yourself the best chance when you get to kick off in the fall. And, you know, certainly with only 2 scholarship players at the quarterback position, you know, we're going to have to find another guy.
Do you guys think Tennessee could possibly end up with a better quarterback?
Could. But I do remember last year.
Do you think so, Dunaway?
I mean, you could.
But don't you remember the last 2 years, this spring portal has been very, very low on quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's right. On quarterbacks,
on
for
quarterbacks,
sure.
yeah.
Low in general, but really low on quarterbacks. I start thinking, where is there a quarterback battle going on that would interest you? Well, there's, I mean, I don't think at Colorado, if Caden what's his name? Salter. If he got there and realized that their big recruit, Juju is going to be the number 1 guy, if he would hit the portal again, he didn't do anything at Liberty that would make me think he'd be any different than Nico was.
Does not feel like an obvious upgrade.
No.
I'll tell you this, you've got a better quarterback situation right now at Vanderbilt. I mean, if Diego was offered, I don't know what the money would take, but I mean, can you see him for an opportunity to play at Tennessee?
Yeah, I just don't think Diego Pavia would work in Josh's system. So no,
that is a bad system fit. There's no doubt.
I mean, Julian Sand looks like he's won the job at Ohio State, but that guy basically, I think, was a preferred walk-on who's battling him.
I mean, right now you're either getting a guy that's not going to win his starting job. So is that who you want? Or you're getting a really highly regarded freshman that has gotten somewhere and maybe made a mistake. Is that who you want?
Yeah,
I mean, that's really what you're getting in the spring.
Just sucks for Tennessee because, like, a guy like John Mateer.
Yeah.
Could
have gotten him.
Probably so. I mean, I think Tennessee probably could outbid Oklahoma.
I mean, if I'm John Mateer and I've got a choice between Oklahoma and Tennessee, Tennessee's a playoff team.
Oh,
yeah. I would go to Tennessee.
To go play for a coach that has got a NFL quarterback-friendly like system.
That's right.
Or Brent Venables. Yeah, I'm going to go with the
Well, they did bring in Ben Arbuckle, the offensive coordinator from Washington State, so we'll see how that goes.
To your point, though, I mean, it's an attractive system that could could make your stock for the NFL look even better. Crazy times in college athletics. Show being brought to you today by our buddy Dr. B. Dr. B getting you ready for beach and lake season here with a nice hair flow on the boat. Looks good, right?
Absolutely. Look, you start thinning out, you start worrying, hey, is my hair going away forever? Not necessarily so. Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business. This guy's been doing it for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to him for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316. T3's got that new test. It's so easy, painless, affordable. Takes seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. Again, call 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B. Find out what will work for you. For more information, you can always go online. Go to t3hair.net.
And, of course, this hour always brought to you by the great folks at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, the best I've ever put in my mouth right there. Brined overnight, cooked to order, always piping hot. Don't forget the hand-cut chicken fingers, all the wonderful sides, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and so much more. It's all on 119 in Alabaster. It is always a great place for lunch. It's a destination location for dinner. It is tremendous happy hour and just a great family feel right there. Sterling's created over a decade in the same location on 119 in Alabaster is Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park May 2nd through 4th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Experience 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, Ferris wheel, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, our friend Alexander Shunnarah bringing you this part of the show. Before Brownie tells us about Alexander Shunnarah, baseball tonight, not a lot going on. You get Kansas City and the Yankees, 6 o'clock on the Major League Baseball Network. If you can find Washington and Pittsburgh, Paul Skeens is pitching tonight.
He's a treat, by the way. Did get roughed up earlier, but might be the best pitcher in baseball.
Could be. The Braves are hoping Spencer Strider is at. They expect to get him back this week. They need him. The Braves are 4-11 after losing the series this weekend in Tampa to the Rays.
Yeah, I had somebody send me, and this was last Thursday or Friday. Our buddy Drew sent me this. If you bet $100, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, if you bet $100 on the Braves, if you faded them, damn, did it go away? Might have gone away on me.
Yeah, but you'd have made some money.
You'd be up a lot of money.
A lot of money?
Yeah, and this was, this was going into the weekend.
Alexander Shunnarah trial attorney. Speaking of a lot of money, how about $2 billion? That's what they've recovered for their clients, maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. His goal was to create a firm that handled any issue his community faced. Well, it now handles not only personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah trial attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
By the way, the basketball show off season, we drop an interview with Auburn commitment from the portal, Keyshawn Hall, coming up soon. Set your alerts. We'll let you know when the basketball show interview with the Auburn signee, Keyshawn Hall, drops. That is coming soon. To your platform there. Congratulations to friend of the show, Reese Davis, the host of College Game Day. It got to be a contract negotiation. Fox wanted him for the Big Noon Kickoff pregame show, which would have been a game changer for that show, I think, getting the host from Game Day to come over for the one on Fox. It got to be a big contract back and forth, and according to a couple of publications, Reese has re-signed with ESPN, a multi-year, multi-million-dollar deal, so millions of dollars.
Good for Reese. I would think this probably gets him to the finish line.
I would hope so.
Yeah. And this is not a shot at the guy that...
Oh, excuse me, not multi-million. Tens of millions. Tens of millions.
With an S on the end of that word, tens.
Well, Reese is a versatile guy, obviously, with basketball and football, and, still a guy that, cut his teeth on SportsCenter. But if I asked you guys, I lost my train of thought.
You were going to say something about Fox. I think you were going to say the same thing I said. If you're Rob Stone.
That's it. Like, I think Fox has done a good job of...
creating their own path,
not being stale, and they do a really good job with it. But I didn't know it was Rob Stone.
Yeah, really,
now that you say it,
I've actually had dealings with him. Really nice guy, so I feel bad for him in this.
He does a good job.
He does a good job. Reese is a nice guy too. I'm glad for Reese. He's a friend of the show.
But if you showed both of them to college football fans,
Reese,
1 out of 10 might be able to
100%.
name Rob Stone, and 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 know Reese Davis.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And Rob does a good job, but he's not Reese Davis. Exactly. That show is entertaining. They do a really good job.
But I think Game Day just had their biggest year ever.
They did.
That's the thing Fox is looking at is, all right, well, we came into this world to try to cut into Game Day. They added Nick Saban and Pat McAfee, and those have been great additions for them, and they're putting up the biggest numbers they've ever put up. We got to take the wind out of those sails somehow.
I mean, so Game Day has done a good job of kind of reinventing itself, too, because, you know, back in the day when Corso was in his prime, when you had Chris Fowler, I mean, how difficult did you guys think it was going to be to replace Chris Fowler? I mean, obviously Reese has done a great job, but to make it seamless and then to have Corso that's become more – I don't know. It's definitely a novelty, but, you know, his contribution has definitely changed.
Yeah, if you'd have told me what has gone on with Corso and losing Chris Fowler, at one point I've been like, the show can't exist anymore, and it's only gotten better.
Well, the other part of that report, too, you saw that from Andrew Marchand in the New York Post, I believe is who he's with now.
Athletic, I believe.
Athletic, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think you're right. I do think he left for the Athletic. Another friend of the show, Dan Orlovsky, in that same report, it came out that CBS tried to hire him to replace Gary Danielson.
Oh, wow.
And he said no to that, but also in that report it said that his future still is not set with ESPN. Like, I've seen Dan, in fact, I've seen him today back on ESPN, and I think we just assumed, oh, good, that means Dan got that ESPN deal re-upped, and it doesn't appear that that's the case just yet.
He's working out the contract, it sounds like.
I guess so.
We'll see. Our friends at Gutter Cap want to remind you that we're at that time of year that maybe you're not thinking about leaves falling, or maybe you haven't thought about it and your gutters are clogged. Our friends at Gutter Cap right now can unclog those gutters. They'll clean them one last time, then they'll cap them. You never have to worry about them again, and you get a great deal right now if you do it this time of year.
Yeah, look, it's a patented aluminum cover system. It allows water inside but keeps out unwanted debris to eliminate gutter clogged. You need to keep them free and clean and free-flowing. The answer is Gutter Cap, 205-823-2212. Special discounted prices, Dunaway mentioned, for mentioning the next round. 22 years in business, our friend Chris Stewart, over 20 A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Chris Stewart also honored to serve on the board of directors for the Better Business Bureau. No pressure, no BS approach. Special discounted price, again, for mentioning the next round. Lifetime warranty on clog-free performance, free estimate, general liability and workers' compensation, insurance as well. 205-823-2212. That's 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com.
You have to admit, when there's a first time something's happened, I mean, it could be something that's been around 10 years. If it's the first time, that's a big deal. But if it's been around as long as the National Hockey League, the NHL, for it to be the first time, that's a big deal. For the first time ever, the 4 American franchises that were part of the original 6, Montreal and Toronto were the 2 in Canada, and then there were 4 in the U.S.
Rangers,
Yep.
Red Wings,
Yep.
Bruins,
Yep.
Flyers,
Nope, Blackhawks.
Penguins, Blackhawks.
Oh, it was Blackhawks.
Yeah,
Right.
not Flyers. So
Okay.
Rangers, Bruins, Blackhawks, and Red Wings. They all missed the playoffs in the same season for the first time ever.
Are you kidding me? So the original, or so the 4 of the original 6, the 4 Americans of the original 6.
The American franchises of the original 6, not in the playoffs.
Sounds like it's going to be kind of a boring playoffs, honestly, doesn't it?
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. No Rangers, no Bruins, shocking. No Blackhawks, no Red Wings.
I don't think I'm going to watch this year. I'll watch the finals, like Stanley Cup finals.
No,
Remember
man.
when I was a big hockey fan for those 24 hours when we played Canada?
It is great drama. It is great drama. Basketball, NBA to the playoffs. We'll talk about the play-in games tomorrow. But right now, we talk about trash. It is brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. You see it on the big screen. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. I had one of those to start off my round yesterday when I shot a personal best, PR. Personal record at Ballantrae with a 79.
So will you have a Bud Light the next time you go out and play, just for superstition?
Don't change anything.
I will. I'll crank it up. And now eating the 2 egg salad sandwiches is going to be hard, but I'll give it a shot.
Tell him Ballantrae was doing the Masters thing they had.
They did. They had, and I wouldn't have eaten them if I hadn't seen them making it when I got there. They were making the egg salad and the pimento cheese and selling them at the price of the Masters for $1.50 a sandwich.
And you ate how many? How many do you think he ate?
3.
Egg salads? No, all combined. Egg salads and pimento cheese.
I think 2 of each.
I had 6, 4 egg and 2 pimento.
I probably would have gone 10 of the pimento cheese.
My gosh.
That was
That's
delicious.
a lot. I ran into, so we were out watching the Masters on Saturday, just randomly, a couple of different places in Avondale, and I ran into a guy and his wife, and I see them occasionally in Birmingham. They're big listeners of the show, but every year they replicate the Champions Dinner. On the final Sunday.
I love that.
Really?
Yeah, and they do all the pimento egg salad.
I love that.
So yeah, they invited us to come by for last night and ended up getting caught up in a couple of things and didn't make it. I wanted to make it just to see it.
So if I can ever be your +1, I'd love to do
I think
that.
it was the Scheffler. I think it was
They had
steaks.
sliders, steaks.
Yeah, and spaghetti and meatballs.
So they every Sunday night after the Masters, they eat what the champion had on Tuesday at the Champions Dinner.
Oh.
Fantastic.
Oh, I want to +1 that. That's great.
It gets tricky every now and then. Like when Sandy Lyle won, they had haggis.
They did Matsuyama.
Matsuyama had a
sushi.
Yeah, very heavy Asian influence.
It's
Obviously,
complicated. I love that idea. Can I just tell you incident on the course yesterday afterwards?
You didn't have to leave behind shorts and a towel, did you?
No.
Okay.
So we finish, and there had been a group of guys in front of us for all 18 holes. It was just a slow day. It was going to be slow, just typical Sunday local public golf. So while we're in the fairway of 18, this guy comes rolling back and he rides up on us, and Mike backs off the ball and says, "Hey, did you guys see a putter cover that I left anywhere behind us here?" Nope, we didn't see one. So we pull in to wrap up our round where you drop the carts off, and this old boy walks up and pulls the putter head cover off my buddy Mike Kennedy's bag and says, "Y'all stole this from me. This is my cover."
Are you kidding me?
And Mike snatches that out of his hand and says, "What are you talking about? No way." And guy gets it back from Mike and says, y'all should be sad. Y'all stole this. I bought this on Amazon. This is my cover head, and y'all are lying to me.
Chances are they made more than one.
And I step in, and I'm like, dude, he's had that forever. Turns out he only had it for 4 months. I've got pictures. I'll show it to you. Big old boy.
Did you actually have pictures?
I started looking really
Wait,
quick.
who's the big old boy? The guy that
the guy that's just causing a ruckus there.
Has he had a few?
And by the way, a little smoke as I would pull up on them. So they were into
some
it
of the
pretty heavy,
devil's lettuce,
which was my next move, by the way.
That's
Towards the end,
normally-
I was like, hey, we can just call the Shelby County Sheriff's Office and we can settle this
They'll
really
sort
quick.
right
And we'll
through it,
we'll do a drug test real quick. And they backed off a
normally
little bit.
people smoking weed aren't very aggressive.
Yeah, this guy was. So he says, y'all should be ashamed. And he throws the putter head over into the natural area over there. Y'all can go get it, and walks off.
Oh, no.
Great apologies from the Ballantrae staff out there and stuff. But
Well, it's not their fault.
It's not, but they were apologizing.
Well,
I think the guy should be banned for life.
I don't know if you remember the episode where Mustang Sally took the I don't even know 5-iron to the dude's head out on the curb of the Sopranos.
Oh,
and then
yeah,
Burt
yeah,
Young
yeah.
had to Uncle Paulie had to get into they put the hit out on him. But I mean, seriously, you walk up on the wrong person. You do that to somebody else.
Yeah, I'm just saying
I mean, did it almost escalate to
it was
next level?
It was intense. The guy could have thrown a punch at any time, I thought. I mean, you have 4 grown men, and I'm the lowest net worth of the group, by the way. I mean,
How does this factor in?
They have
the net
made
worth?
money. The fact that they would steal a putter head cover.
Oh, okay, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm from a trailer park in Alabaster. I wouldn't steal a putter head cover. In fact, somebody lost one at Oak Mountain the other day when I was playing. And he was walking off, and I was like, listen, I don't even like having mine. You can have mine if you want, because it was the same type one he was looking for.
Boy.
He goes, mine's a mallet.
I give you guys credit for being that reserved.
Yeah.
See, like I've gotten passive the older I get. I don't want to be in those situations, but like that guy is doing everything in his power to try to instigate a bad situation.
It was insanity.
I can't believe he threw it in the woods.
Yeah, threw it over the carts out into the natural area and said, go get it then. If you want it, go get it.
Can I give you a...
But seriously, if you would have taken your putter and hit him as hard as you could in the knee.
Yeah.
I think that. Well, I mean, you don't want to hit him in the head. You probably kill him.
The head,
but
yes.
you hit him in the knee, I guarantee you the situation is diffused. He ain't moving. He ain't doing nothing.
Yeah. Well, I would have needed to had a plan B at that point in case he was able to get back on one leg.
Can I give you the quote of the day from Tuscaloosa before we go to trash? This will be the one that makes all the headlines.
Has it got anything to do with Nico?
Indirectly, but no.
Okay.
Does it have?
Has Kalen DeBoer commented about my putterhead incident yesterday?
No.
Okay.
No. This is Emily Grace McWhorter is over there, so you'll get coverage from her. Follow us at Next Round Live, at Next Round Live. You'll see this in just a little bit, the actual video of it. From Ryan Grubb, offensive coordinator at Alabama. At the end of the day, if we're playing a football game tomorrow, Ty would be the starter. I know that's the quote everyone is looking for.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me at this day and
Again,
age.
the timing.
People saying it out loud tells me Ryan Grubb knows Austin Mack ain't going anywhere.
Well, I mean, he knows that, but if I'm Tennessee now and I think Austin Mack's really good, I'm making a call.
But he can't start for you.
Well, we say that.
I know. He can't guarantee to start for you.
You can't guarantee it.
Yeah.
But if I'm NC State, I need a quarterback. Hey, man, you can be our starter right now.
Yeah. Or Washington, where he was once committed, or I don't know what their quarterback situation is, or go back to Washington. I think he's a California kid. Interesting times, man, because that portal opens again on Wednesday. But good for Ryan Grubb, who I'm told is great with the media. EJ's texted me, this guy's fantastic. So great sound from Ryan Grubb coming up on the show tomorrow. Right now it is time for Trash. Hit it, my man.
Tell me about the whistles. The whistles got woo. When you want to woo woo, it's that woo woo. You know what I'm saying?
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
New sport is coming to Los Angeles. Probably not one you even knew existed. Sperm racing.
Oh, wow. I had two that were really good.
Startup announced the launch of the world's first live sperm race, and you will be able to watch its inaugural edition in Los Angeles. Now, according to the
I don't want to be part of the pregame show.
real estate media outlet Traded, the startup, simply known as Sperm Racing, nearly raised $1 million in support of their efforts to put on the world's first sperm race. Now, 4 men behind the idea, no reason to even go through them. Sperm Racing website's manifesto cites a worldwide decline in male fertility as the catalyst for the idea. Went on to say, quote, male fertility is declining like a lot, the manifesto states. It's happening quite quietly, steadily, and nobody's really talking about it.
Let's go down to Holly Road.
Thus, to raise awareness of the alarming trend, the founders are turning health into sport.
Oh, gosh.
Now, you might be wondering how exactly a sperm race works.
I am wondering that, Lance.
Well, the founders lay it out. First, microscopic racetrack for the 2 sperm samples to compete on will be constructed. Course mimics reproductive system and includes chemical signals, fluid dynamics, and synchronized starts. Every move that the sperm makes is tracked by high-resolution cameras and live stream. There will even be stats, leaderboards, and yes, instant replays. The race itself is exactly like any other. The first sperm to cross finish line wins.
That's our Nissan Drive to kick off.
And the world's first ever sperm race will take place April 25th in a USC against UCLA style battle.
Wow, that's the same day as race day in Talladega.
Yeah. Victory Bell of sperm. I think
Now,
I'm
let
the,
Talladega pick up on this one.
I think I'm the only one eligible to compete on the panel, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I'm not going to, but I am the only one that...
And the founders also announced they're creating a betting market specifically for this.
Probably not going to take off there, Tyler. But
I would say I bet on just about everything. This would be the craziest thing I've ever bet on.
Yeah. Chad is right. Phillip Rivers going to be tough to beat in this one. May not have gone to a Super Bowl in his career, but...
No, it's Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp. Don't know where Sean is right now.
Antonio Cromartie.
Yeah.
You
Clint Eastwood.
You got to give a little credit to how poor the defensive coordinators were, too, though, on the other side.
That is a good point, yeah. When you're trying to let everybody stay open.
Missouri man, boy, from that story to this, a Missouri man who fled the scene after crashing his truck into a come-and-go front window.
Wow, interesting spelling.
Yeah,
I've seen one of those.
Claimed his Crocs got caught in the pedal.
As they do.
This caused him to accelerate into the business.
I was just having this discussion with E.G. before she drove to Tuscaloosa.
About
she had
Crocs?
certain footwear on that seemed to be a little loose. And I'm like, I have to, like if I got beach footwear on, like a Birkenstock or a slider, I have to take them off when I drive because they can get caught on the pedals when I'm trying to drive.
But it's illegal to drive without shoes, right?
Technically, I think that used to be the rule, but I'd rather drive barefoot than I would have something getting caught on the pedal that's going to jack things up.
Well, cops say security footage recorded Dale Hammett, 60 years old, slamming his 2012 Dodge Ram into the convenience store on Thursday evening in late February. They said that Hammett immediately backed up, left the scene without providing any information. Crash resulted in damages of over $3,700 to the Springfield Come and Go.
I'll go ahead and tell you, at age 60, him wearing Crocs probably should be against the law anyway.
I've never worn Crocs, but I do when I drive long distances. A lot of times I'll take my shoes off. Do y'all ever take your shoes off?
Only if I'm like driving Lake Beach when I'm or back from a golf course if I've got sliders or something.
Let them puppies breathe a little bit. You don't do that?
Yeah, that's the only time I will do it is when I have on, like if I am going from pool to beach, down at the beach, and I've got flip-flops on, which is the only time I got them on.
Like you just can't drive with those flip-flops on.
The older I've gotten, I always make sure, I don't know if this is laziness or what, I just wear shoes that I don't have to tie. Or like they stay tied like these, they've got laces, right? But, I just easily pop them
I've
off.
got to get a pair of those because I just want to slide them on if I got to run out and
those are
take the
great
garbage out.
for the airport, too. If
If
you don't have the TSA clearance.
That's right.
So, Baker Police Department arrested 4 people who they believe rode their horses through a Baker Walmart on Tuesday night.
Well, I almost sent this to Tyler. You had already seen it. There's video with it. I don't know if you watched the video.
I didn't pull the video.
Yeah.
Now, videos posted on social media showed 4 people on horses riding through the Walmart in Baker. On Thursday, the horse riders were arrested after Mason Webb and a juvenile turned themselves into police. By Friday morning, all 4 horse riders turned themselves into police, faced the same charges. Webb, one of the riders, said there was no particular reason for them to go through Walmart, and they just chose to do it one night. Webb went on to say, quote, "That's my emotional support animal." Both Webb and the juvenile are facing charges, including disturbing the peace by violent and tumultuous manner, unlawful posting of criminal activity for notoriety and publicity.
Yeah, so there's some Walmart customer that's doing the video, Tyler, and she's just like, oh my God. That's all she keeps saying. And then she gets a little more colorful in her commentary. But all you can hear in the background is, I mean, they're just clicking through Walmart. And
I got to be honest, much like in the show Yellowstone, you don't see a lot of bros on the back of horses.
Yeah.
And we've got 4 in one Walmart.
But, sadly, we'll have to have a sign now that says no horses allowed.
That's right.
Because inevitably they're going to be like,
You're right.
well, did you have in writing anywhere that a horse can't come in?
I mean, Chuck E. Cheese has got the sign. It still stands at all of them. No firearms allowed. You would think you would never have to post that at the Chuck E. Cheese, but apparently you do.
There's a reason you do.
And finally, a South Florida man was driven to take action after he says investigators took too long to track down his stolen truck. His own search steered him hundreds of miles away from home. Now, it took years of saving money before Jonathan was able to buy the pricey pickup truck he always wanted, a Ram TRX, but in just a few months, it was stolen. He filed a report with the sheriff's office. He says he never heard back from them, so he decided to track down the truck without their help. Jonathan went on to say, quote, "I started looking for the truck myself, started investigating everything. Searched ads on Facebook Marketplace, eventually found a post about a truck for sale in Miami. Jonathan reported the ad to police, but says it was taken down before anyone could investigate. A few weeks later, Jonathan got a clue where his truck had been taken. Even though the truck's GPS was disabled, he still got a notification on his phone that 800 miles had been added to the odometer. Jonathan went on to say, and I just started checking Facebook Marketplace and all those areas that were in the radius. Jonathan eventually found an ad for a Ram TRX. It looked like his truck was 800 miles away, right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. Someone was selling it for $80,000. The person who posted the ad had several vehicles for sale, said some of them appeared to be parked in front of the same house. He said, I spent 9 hours on Google Maps just looking for that specific house. Jonathan searched every road in that area until he found the house matching the one in the ads, reported his discovery to the sheriff's office in Tennessee, hopped on a flight. A few hours later, deputies found his truck. Jonathan was relieved, saying, I got my effing truck back. His efforts have given him a new mission, tracking down stolen cars. He said, I already found another car that belonged to a friend of mine, and that car was in Texas, so he got it back. Now we're looking for another one.
I mean, this guy's a pretty good investigator.
Yeah.
Maybe that's his calling.
Yeah. That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light, also by our friends at NASCAR, and then Brown has a story for us.
Yeah, NASCAR is coming back to the Talladega Superspeedway, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. April 25th through 27th is the Jack Links 500 weekend. You can see the intensity of Talladega yourself. If you've never been, this is a great time to go. You're cheating yourself if you've never been to a race at Talladega. Even if you're not a NASCAR fan, it is a blast. I've done it many times. April 25th through 27th, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Jack Links 500 weekend, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Sad story to end on today. I hate to do that, but this was circulating earlier today. It is being reported now by AL.com that our friend, Coach Bill Oliver, has passed away. Brother Oliver, yeah. The architect of many legendary defenses, most known, though, for that 1992 Alabama defense. But We've all worked with Coach. Was a fun guy to be around.
And I was thinking about him the other day because, there was a point in time, especially we were doing a lot with Wedgwood, that, I got to play golf with him, multiple years. And, man, his stories, he was just one of those old school storytellers.
Yep.
And I didn't, the reason I was thinking about him, it was a couple of months ago, is I haven't heard anything at all. And I was wondering how his health was.
Unfortunately, passed away age 85. Coach lived a long time. I did not realize he was 85.
So he was, as I read here, he was on Alabama's first national championship team, right, in 61 as a defensive back.
First Bear Bryant national championship team.
That's what I meant. And then I didn't know he'd started his coaching career at Auburn, but he did. 66 to 70 was a DB coach at Auburn, and then came back to Alabama 71 to 79, the great run in the 90s. He was a DB coach there.
And then left Alabama to go back to Auburn, where he eventually became interim coach when Terry Bowden was fired.
One of the best defensive game plans you'll ever see against Miami.
Yeah, it's an all-time classic, and it gets referenced a lot around here, even that many years later.
Never got to be a head coach except for that interim time at Auburn.
He was a heck of a defensive coordinator, though.
His players loved him.
Yeah.
He was the defensive coordinator for the Memphis Showboats in the USFL in 84 and 85.
Was he really? You remember the head coach then?
It was the old Georgia Tech coach.
But that was Pepper Rogers. Pepper Rogers, and that was Reggie White's team.
That was
right?
Reggie White's team. That's what I was getting to.
I would like
Brother
to be
Bill with Reggie White.
I'd like to be his defensive coordinator.
Yeah. Man, what a legend! Bill Oliver passing away. We'll celebrate him all day on social media and a little bit more on the show tomorrow. We're back with you at 9 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. Don't forget to set your alerts for all of our other programs. And don't forget you can catch up on all of today's show on demand through the podcast platform of your choice, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, and Google Podcasts. And remember, it helps us out a lot, helps us tremendously when you like, follow, subscribe, and turn on your automatic downloads. Those automatic downloads are so important. We thank you so much. And we appreciate you doing that for us wherever you get the show. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.